Welcome to Axe to Grind, the hardcore podcast that matters most to you.
Not bad. I would say the, not the.
Okay.
Like the hardcore. You know what I mean? Like put the emphasis on the
to Axe to
correct
Grind.
syllable.
The
Like
hardcore
hardcore podcast. Like the hardcore podcast. Like, can you pass me that hardcore podcast? It's the hardcore.
The hardcore podcast.
I'd hit because that's
Hardcore.
really
The
exactly.
hardcore.
I'd hit the core.
It's like heart attack. Okay, all right.
I used to know people, number one, that used to call the band Infest, not, and Asuk instead of Asuk.
I hear Asuk all the time still too.
It's not, I don't think it's right.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, Ian MacKay versus Ian Mackay.
I knew him as Ian MacKay for the first like 25 years of my
too.
hardcore
Me
existence.
too.
Yep.
But it's, and everyone's like, anyone who knows him calls him Ian Mackay. I go,
Well-
you don't know. I'm like, if Henry Rollins is calling me Ian Mackay, we're probably wrong. I mean, I have to be fair.
Magneto.
Yeah.
And it's Magnet.
But there's some that are just look. I don't know where the fuck this man is from, but I never heard the word gi before in my life. A gi is something you wear.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? I don't even
Or
know.
ghee with Ghee. Oh, like ghee,
I'm talking-
Chiodo.
like butter.
Yeah,
Clarified butter.
clarified butter, clarified butter, or a thing that you wear. I don't know. Somebody's gonna have to tell me. Does anybody know Guy's ethnicity? I don't know where the fuck he's from.
No.
No, well, ghee, the way he says it is French.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Oh, that would actually make sense.
total
Last name,
Like
right?
all these like hockey players from like Canada.
Okay, so
Guy
that helps.
Lafleur.
Thank you. That helps.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, his name is what? Guy Pisciato or something?
That
Yeah.
makes sense. It
I
fits,
would
right?
guess he was Italian.
I don't know. I thought he was Basque or some shit. But
I don't know.
my point is that like I always
Hey, Guy, get at us, man.
I only know guys. You know what I mean? I only know guys. So like when I was
Do you know a lot of guys? I don't know anybody named Guy.
Guy,
calling
Guy
Guy
from the
Smiley.
shore. Do you know Guy?
Guys,
There's
Is it Guy?
Guy. He's a listener. Thank you, Guy.
Hi, Guy.
He works at. His family owns Pisces Seafood down in Tom's River.
I like Guy. And I
Guy is in the wilds and
no shit.
sometimes Stag Party, sometimes, and some other shit.
a name that is common for a part of the world that is not common for my understanding of the world. A lot of Filipinos, boy is a name.
Boy.
And I-
B-O-Y.
Yeah, B-O. Yeah, I don't know. B-O-Y. Yeah, B-O-Y.
Are you just questioning how you spell boy?
Well, I thought you said. I thought
Like
you said.
B-O-Y?
I thought you said
C-A-T?
B-O-I, and I was going to be like, no, not skater boy.
Or maybe, or
Like-
big boy.
Said,
at any
see you
rate-
later, boy.
At any rate, there's a lot of places I don't understand. A lot of places I haven't been. So I'm just saying that.
So you think Fugazi is trolling you because it's probably Guy Pisciotto from Bethesda
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Ian
Ian
MacKay
MacKay.
from
Ian MacKay.
Yes.
From Fairfax.
Yeah.
To which I would say, Guy
and Henry
don't-
Garfield.
Let's not put on airs, Guy. You know
Yeah,
what I
all
mean?
right.
I mean, it's definitely some airs.
Yeah, it's some airs.
I'm sure like someone calls him Guy.
Probably,
He's got family that calls him Guy.
Yeah.
Everybody who sits near him at the Wizards games calls him Guy.
That's true.
Is he
You
in
ever
all the
see
Wizards
that?
games?
No.
No.
They did like the like when they
Jumbotron.
point out like famous people in the audience, and there was Guy Pisciotto, whatever,
Fugazi.
on the fucking giant jumbotron
At
at a
Wizards
Washington
game.
Wizards basketball game.
Are you serious?
He looks 95 years old.
Yeah.
Like long hair, like all grayed out, like.
Wow.
But there he was. I'm like, holy crap!
Bad news, John Wall might be going in for surgery on his foot 6 to 8 months.
Ooh.
And he's got a big contract and they were trying to trade it.
John Whale,
John Wall. John Wall.
Jean Whale.
Well, that's a great transition into our sponsors.
Well, first,
I'm Patrick.
I'm Bob.
I'm Tom.
Oh, you're Tom today, and our guest,
And I'm Greg.
Greg. Greg, do me a favor. Tell people at home where they might know you from.
He doesn't want to say bona fides anymore. You beat that out
now
of you.
I don't have the airs anymore. What's it?
For many years, I sang and continue to sing because I guess we play every year or two in Trial, in the band Trial, and I sing in a band called Between Earth and Sky, and then a new band called Bystander, and that's how people related to hardcore would have heard of me probably.
But
Right.
people that are related to the public speaking scene.
Would know me as Greg Bennick.
Okay, right.
Gregor.
We'll get into your career in a little while, but
Yes.
first sponsors.
Triple B Records.
Triple B Records. Greg, you pick up any of these records?
I don't. I honestly, in the past year, have listened to so little hardcore. It's ridiculous.
We're gonna
And
catch up.
I hope you do, because I mean, even as you were recording your other episode that I was lucky enough to sit in on, I was amazed by your collective hardcore knowledge. It kind of blew my mind.
People at home are mind blown at how little I know about fastcore. So
Wow.
And he doesn't like Age of Quarrel.
it's a topic of conversation. Yeah, minds are blowing over there. So Triple B, to catch you up, started the way that good hardcore labels do, which is as a favor. I'll put out your record, sure. And then, so Sam, what did we say Sam's going by? Dr. Claw.
Dr. Claw.
Dr. Claw.
With his cat.
Over time, became very good at this.
Yeah, I mean, the reputation is huge, obviously.
And in the last, and there was vaguely a Triple B sound for a couple of years. But over the last year, would we say, he's really gone in every direction that interests him.
Okay.
And that's like a crisis period for a lot of labels, but he's doing it with a lot of what would you call it?
A plum.
I feel
Is it
that's the correct
plumb? A plumb or a plum?
I don't know.
A plumb.
It's Guy. It's definitely Guy.
It's spelled the way he's
Guy would say a plum.
Yeah.
a plumb as he hung upside down from a basketball.
He would say a plum.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Fair, as he hung outside from a basketball.
At any rate, he's doing it with a lot of grace, and we've been impressed. Last time we told people to check out what?
One Step Closer.
One Step Closer.
Which is up for pre-order right now. What are you going to check out? Let's
Never Ending Game.
The promo, I don't know if there's
That's not
physical
for
on
sale,
it. I don't know, right.
Oh,
so go
it's not
buy
in the
it. Go
store?
put some money into a band camp. But what you really should do is get yourself some Triple B gear. Go get the Triple B dad hat. He just made a new batch. Always good to do it.
What about the shoulder bag, whatever they call them now?
I think they sold out.
Again.
I just saw one at the show yesterday.
Fanny packs. He made fanny packs.
But they
sell
wear
out,
them
immediately.
across the shoulder.
Yeah, nobody
and they're
wears
very
fanny packs
popular.
anymore unless you're like on steroids. Or Morgado. I mean, that's pretty much... Well, he might be on steroids, so I don't really know.
Yeah, we never really investigate that.
What do we got going on there?
Okay, so what's this one? What's this promo? Dominant Force. Okay. You guys know what is up with this, right? This is like one that
Florida.
has escaped me, though. What's the sound, though?
Straightforward hardcore.
Okay.
Slight New York lean.
I kind of like the imagery a lot.
I believe we might have listened to a song on one of the listening parties.
Okay. The aesthetic on it is good. The lettering is good.
It's like a metal lettering.
The Grim Reaper riding a dragon is good. So I'm going to say
they had a very good idea of what they wanted when they went to their art person.
yes. I'm going to say pick that one up because I like everything about the dragon.
What's that from me to you?
Where are you looking?
Top left, whatever that.
Oh, that's the One Step Closer record.
Oh, okay, good.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Dominant Force record, which I'll be totally frank.
I mean, the tape?
Tape.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the fuck this sounds like. I just like the look. And at $6, I don't think you can go wrong.
And get yourself a hat.
Get yourself a hat.
Enter the promo code.
Axe to Grind.
And you should.
You should spell it out.
All right.
And it's, what is that? What's the website, sir?
That is www.triplebrecords.limitedrun.com.
So you're going to really stare into like HTTPS.
Yeah, you know what?
Colon. //
So we did a recent episode where I showed my age with such
Age kid.
with such aplomb. Yeah, such. We're just going to try different variations. Aplomb.
A palm. That's a new one.
That I'm now just leaning in. Do you know when it really struck me? Is on an episode where I said, "Yeah, my computer's getting old, so I don't keep many albums on it anymore." And I was thinking, I just acted like I didn't know streaming was a thing. Yeah.
Right.
Or cloud technology.
I'll confess, I don't know what the fuck that is. So So apparently, I'm
if it's any consolation, I live in an internet black hole in Seattle. The 4-block radius around me is the only neighborhood that doesn't have internet in the city of Seattle.
Wow.
So I have to use satellite internet. Literally, I live in an industrial area.
Why is that?
It's the way that the internet was cabled, installed, fiber optic and whatnot.
Sure.
I live in such a crazy industrial area that there was no need for it ever in this area.
God.
So I use satellite internet, so I can't stream. So everything's MP3s in my world. Yeah.
Do you have indoor toilets?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Barely.
electricity. Yeah.
That's how you keep Jeff Bezos at bay, though.
Yeah,
because he can't get to you if you don't have the internet.
Yeah. So there's
Smart move.
So I have this weird, slow satellite hookup. It's completely insane. And the rumor is that Comcast is now available, but I haven't been home in Seattle in a while, so I'll make the call after.
Would you look into it?
Hell yeah, of course I would. I mean, it's
I
the
don't know if
internet.
you want to
It's
stay off
2019, of course. Like, I mean,
Fair. No,
it's not like I don't want the internet. You know what I mean? It's like, if I'm on a desert island, it's like, no, thanks with the shipment of food. I'm doing fine eating sand.
Coconut.
Yeah.
A wise man once said, "No Wi-Fi, no peace."
Yeah. Although I'm starting to flip on that. I took Twitter off my phone.
Christ.
I might take Instagram off my my phone. I'm thinking about becoming a little.
A Luddite.
Are you gonna make like the announcements like everyone else does?
No, I mean, I just
I'm
did.
quitting this website.
I just did, but no, in general, no.
Yeah.
Yo, you want to make bets on that? Is that happens?
gonna last.
I know.
I mean,
I'll
got
make a
self-
bet if it doesn't happen.
Twitter's
Mayor-
staying off my phone.
Twitter, yeah, I saw you tweeting from like Hootsuite. And all this bullshit,
Twitter's staying off my phone, but
Because he's home for now and he's got a computer.
yeah, it's true. It's cheating.
Instagram.
Instagram, I look at a lot.
You're a
of
very
shit.
visual person.
I'm a very visual person. I
How are
look
you
at a
gonna
lot
put,
of
like
shit all day.
post like selfies at noon on a Tuesday if you're still in bed?
Yo, I
Tom
don't.
takes that as a personal
I
offense.
know.
Personal
Okay,
front. I'm like,
so-
I've been at work for 3 hours.
So no
I know.
names, but we know a lot of people whose careers suffered a little bit in some ways because they were enjoying themselves too much. You know what I mean? Online.
Okay.
And if you are enjoying yourself too much online and you got a bunch of clients, they sometimes get big mad. You know what I mean?
sure.
Oh, yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
Why am I working harder than you? You're at the beach.
Right. So like, and I aspire to be that person. You know what I mean? I
The
want
guy that makes everyone mad. 'cause you're
Yeah,
at the beach.
yeah.
Well, you're doing
That-
a bang up job. If you-
That specific one, maybe not, but you know.
But like,
I mean, you don't work at all, so it's not like I'm not like, why am I working so hard to bring home the bacon to this
the
guy?
bacon,
I
yeah.
know.
He's sitting at home in his white sheets with his pretty girlfriend, not
Yeah.
doing anything. I don't really give a fuck.
I mean, she wants me out of the house really bad, so I got.
we know.
I might have to get a job just to
Why
like.
walk dogs?
It's cold.
Does it blow you?
No, hell no. I love walking dogs. It's just I
That
don't.
might be the most fun job you can have.
It's a really fun job. I just hate the
Try to a
cold.
record store.
Maybe. The
You
problem,
could be like the pretentious guy at the record store. Like, you're just getting that. You can be that
No,
guy.
he's going to be the guy at the record store who's like, you shouldn't buy that. Just don't buy that. You shouldn't be buying
the
things.
No.
drug church record.
He's like, he slides people his Soul Seek name on like a little piece of
I'll
notepad.
say, pick it up here.
Saddam 518. Just dosh me some money.
Gosh,
Josh, I don't know. I think that if I had that job at my current age, I would probably be the guy that
Record store?
Yeah, that fell into the tragic. I'm here and I feel like we should be talking, so I'm going to engage you on every I'm going to engage every
purchase.
customer.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
nobody needs
And
Hey, what do you got?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like-
Remember I saw them at the garden. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Like, and you don't. I don't want to be that
He
guy.
turned into Carl
necessarily.
from Aquatine.
Right.
I remember seeing them in '83 at Brendan Byrne Arena.
I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, you don't want to see that.
So yeah, but I should get out of the house.
Does Brendan Byrne Arena still exist? I don't know.
Well, it
if
became the
does.
Izod Center.
I know. I don't know if it's still.
I don't know if
exists
it's
now.
still like actually.
Did they tear it down? Let's look
I
it
don't
up. I'm gonna look to the
Okay.
internet.
All right. And we're going to.
I have a good story. Oh, can I tell my
Absolutely.
Brendan Byrne Arena
And
story?
Yes, please.
You can tell any story you
Before
care to.
you want
Still
to do the
there.
Deathwish
Still
thing?
there.
It is still there.
Still there.
What is it for now? The
Meadowlands,
Deathwish moved out.
Meadowlands Arena, formerly Brendan Byrne, Continental Airlines, forgot about that, and Izod Center, indoor venue, complex, blah, blah, blah. Covered footbridge connects from MetLife. Okay. Let's see if it's done anything interesting. No.
This is the metal. What
This
used
is-
to be the Meadowlands.
Yes,
This is the Meadowlands,
The
the
football
in-
stadium,
Yeah,
and then
of
the
course.
basketball. Soccer.
Yeah.
Basketball teams in Brooklyn, the hockey teams in Newark.
Newark.
Oh wow.
So it just kind of lays there dormant. I didn't know if they knocked it down. So
I thought they knocked it down, and I'm not seeing anything there. And
no, like ice capades, nothing.
I think maybe they get the Paw
I think
Patrol
the
live
last thing
show.
I went to
American Idol held auditions there in 2011.
Yo, hold
that
on.
might have been the last time they actually opened that door.
Bob, you know more about the child rearing thing.
Apparently,
Since you have a child
I
and
do.
Pat doesn't, so I would probably
Is Paw Patrol?
make you an expert.
Is that the thing that I had to watch this entire fucking weekend when I had family over? Is that like a children's thing?
it is. Is that or maybe PJ Masks?
Oh fuck, I don't know.
Nighttime is the
There-
right
there-
time
there
to
was
fight
a-
crime. I still can't think of a rhyme.
Wow, I think that was an Ink and Dagger lyric.
I think it was.
It's about the same.
It was. I think. That's what I thought he
Nighttime
was
is the
doing.
right time.
Because there was some shit that engaged the kids so damn much.
Paw Patrol does a good job.
Yeah?
The police dog is named Chase.
Clever.
He's a really divisive Paw Patrol character. Rubble, Sky.
What, they fight crime? Is that you said?
No, yeah, they do, but
They're
more
patrol.
more like help people.
Okay.
PJ Masks are like superheroes who wear pajamas. So,
Hence PJ.
Understood.
all right, let's talk. Let's get Tom's story.
I mean,
No, please.
Yes, please. No, Brendan Byrne and
don't act
Byrne.
like I derailed you. With
You
my
did
Paw
derail.
Patrol.
PJ Paul.
Oh my
bullshit.
god.
All right, so Paw Patrol probably is the last event they had at the Brendan Byrne / Izod Center.
Yes. So I worked security one year for U2.
What?
Okay, yeah.
Wait, what?
So my brother-in-law on
You
the
know the
side,
Edge?
Here's where it gets fun.
That's why things got weird when I dissed fucking Bono.
Yeah, 'cause
I would never have guessed that about you.
That I was
Just as you never would have guessed that I did security for DJ Jazzy Jeff and Technotronic.
What?
My
Nice.
freshman year of college when they came to Syracuse.
Really?
I did.
Did it get a little hairy?
It did not.
Did you almost get fired on the spot?
I did not.
Because I did.
Please continue.
All right. so my brother-in-law did it on the side. Like he had like a gig that he worked for, like some company that did. And the way they had staging set up for this U2 tour, it was a heart that went out from the main stage like into the crowd like this.
Yep.
So they needed people lining the inside of it and the outside, right? So I got Justin Brannon hired. I got a bunch of people hired. Bifurcated story. Justin Brannon's sitting there and he's like, yeah, this guy like standing in front of me, fucking singing off key the whole time. Then he starts talking about his son, who signed to Victory Records and ends up being Jeff Thursday, his father. Was literally like,
Sorry, Mr. Rickley. We thought you had a better voice.
yes, your son got all the
Sunday morning sun.
And so he was like literally standing right in front of Justin. So second song or something, they Edge goes out this way, Bono goes out this way into this giant heart. All of a sudden, I feel this a hand on my shoulder. I turn around. Man, Bono. He's leaning down, like singing to the crowd, but he's holding on to me, like for
as a bounce.
So I'm
And
like,
you're like,
hey, like I love you too, and I'm like watching him
This is your grotto story.
the whole time.
You touched celebrity.
I mean, he touched me.
Yeah.
that's true.
I mean,
Like the hand of God reaching down.
exactly. And I was just like watching him. The head of security comes over. He's like, "You do that again, you're fired immediately." He's like,
Oh, you
"We're
can't look
paying
up.
you to watch the crowd,
Yeah.
not the fucking."
Ah.
Well, yeah, so I was gonna fire.
You say fire me.
Did you? They didn't fire you though.
No, but I was very close. It was awesome. I got to be a bodyguard for Bono.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
not
he
many
made it through the
evil-
concert.
Take a bullet.
I did my job.
Yeah.
I've seen Taken. I've seen Tooken. I know how this works.
DJ
Yo.
Jazzy Jeff survived too.
You know
And
what?
Another thing we
what
had-
about Technotronic that you didn't mention? Them?
Technotronic made it
All
through.
right, very good. Well done.
That was a little tighter, but
Can we agree In the Line of Fire is a great movie?
Great movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely great
Love it
movie.
so
What about
much.
Man on Fire?
Fantastic
Dude.
movie.
Yeah.
Amazing movie.
Fantastic.
That's a
I'm
good
going to tell you
movie.
something after the podcast. All right.
Were you on it?
I'll tell
Did you want to be the guy that gets the
Maybe he
bomb put
was.
up his
I'll
beehole?
tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Okay. Is everybody familiar with the existence of a label called Deathwish?
yes.
I'm fine.
Yes.
Okay. They sponsor this show.
They do.
And what do we suggest that somebody goes to deathwishinc.com? There's a www in front of that.
And an HTTPS.
Yeah,
It's
there
secure.
is.
It's a
And
secure thing.
what do we suggest that they purchase while they're there?
You want to know why? Deathwish logo sweatpants.
That's where you're going? I love them
Comfy.
so much.
Fucking
I wore them
comfy.
for 3 years until they basically became just like,
They're on sale,
oh, fuck.
Oh,
and if you enter the promo code,
extra grind.
you should.
Indeed, you should spell it out, yeah.
You'll get 10% off that on
10%
sale
off
already.
a discounted.
Damn.
What are we talking here?
$24. So we're talking like
$22 for
$21.60, right?
Ooh.
Look,
That's a deal.
Drawstring?
this is
I
a
think so.
thing that I can tell the truth about. You know, sometimes
Did this label put out 11 of your records?
absolutely,
And what
with
you got
that-
out of it was sweatpants?
And with that, I got sweatpants, and I wore the shit out of those sweatpants.
You're a fan of sweatpants.
I love sweatpants.
Tom, what would you prefer? The pink sweats he's got that look, or the nice black
Crisp
Deathwish logo?
Deathwish, all-
I know,
every day.
Same.
All right, everybody, go buy those.
Yours don't have.
No, they're not cinched at the bottom. These are like the bell bottoms.
No, these are nice.
Again, you're wearing clothes. You look like the guy in Ocean's 12 that has to do the capoeira to get around the lasers when he's breaking into the museum. That's what you're dressed like. I'm just on the south of France. Like, that's what you're dressed like right now.
It's all I aspire to.
When I came in tonight, I was like, I didn't realize how informal this was. And I
Right,
immediately
right.
wanted to take off my shoes and maybe my
Take your
can.
shoes off,
jacket,
man.
everything. Just
This
like,
guy
I was hoping you were going to say, I didn't realize how much this was like Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
You know, like we just sit around planning.
Yes, Deathwish, one of our favorite labels for many years.
Many reasons.
And get the sweatpants. It's a value.
I'm ordering them right now.
Are you really?
Not a bad idea.
Maybe.
They make an extra. They
They make
like
XL.
like a
They're
medium
out
tall?
of mediums. Out
Or
of
large
mediums.
Tall?
I'd be a large. I've made the mistake again XL because my legs are
they're
long.
sweats.
For the sweats, yeah. And the set of XLs I got was a little too big, but the large will fit me probably good. No
Will they
mediums,
go
but they
past
got
your
smalls.
knees?
The what's that? Large?
Yeah. Like no, I'm saying for your height,
Oh yeah.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're long enough. They're long enough.
they're not going to be. I
And if they're flood pants, it's all right. I think that's in style now.
think they
right?
call them pedal pushers.
Pedal pushers? Oh yeah, I'm in it.
I
I'm in.
I got a thing where like I'm open to in my own home. I'm into the
Variety?
spectrum of sweatpants. I'll wear sweatpants that are skin tight. I'll wear sweatpants that are.
What's the
baggy.
point of wearing skin tight sweats? If you're not like going out for a run,
Okay.
if you're not going to protect this house, you look ridiculous.
Still warm, still soft. As long as they're not too tight in
Crotch area.
yeah,
bulbous
right,
area.
right, crotch area, then I think you're still okay, and maybe might even be a little warmer because you don't get any draft. You might get a draft. with
Nothing's
looser
flying up
sweatpants.
there. Yeah.
No, nothing.
The argument for tight sweatpants.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'll wear long
Those are
johns.
tights.
Long johns I'll wear around the house. You know.
I mean, those are Lululemon tights.
All right. So, what do you feel like you'd be more comfortable going out for the day in? Lululemon tights or capris?
What are we talking weather?
That's really the
First
key.
day of spring in New York City, 65 degrees.
Give me them pedal pushing capris, man.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
Capris, yeah.
Get some
I think so.
breezes
I think
going.
You know what? Because in the winter, I think if you're wearing the tights, you could pull off the maybe I'm finishing a jog.
Right, you're wearing a long jacket.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you have
yeah,
like
absolutely.
saddlebags.
Are you,
True,
wear,
I'm
are you
with
wearing
that.
shorts with the
No.
the shorts?
I didn't put that in there.
No, but Lululemons are like those are like $100 sweatpants.
They're not-
I know, but I'll be honest. Like anything that is that like when I go to the
Binding?
when I go to the grocery store, because when I wear sweatpants, I don't know about you guys. I'm not wearing any underwear under them. And then when I
Not
go to
frequently.
when I go to the grocery store,
So you got
I'm
skin
like-
on skin contact.
I'm
right
like
there right now?
I'm like flopping. You
I-
know what
I
I mean?
know.
And I
His
don't.
hand on his pants, like
I don't-
fucking out.
It's been for 2 episodes straight. Just so
I
you know.
hadn't noticed
Yeah.
until now.
I keep it down.
I am just horrified.
the benefit of your seat versus my seat.
Yeah, seriously, shake me with your right hand. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. This is my crotch hand. Okay, so let's get into.
Thanks, Deathwish.
Let's get into the shit.
Greg, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, happy to be
This is
here.
the first time we've talked crotch hand. Appreciate you
Sorry.
being here
Yeah,
for it.
It's real, though.
Took like 50-something episodes, but
Well, we've arrived.
talking about his
You've
ball hand.
arrived.
Yeah, officially this is episode 50 something.
Okay,
So
right on.
Yeah, we will no longer. We're somewhere in the
keep things
double
vague.
digits.
yeah, we'll hit you with milestones and that's it. And Greg, you're going to be joining us for a wide variety of topics
I'm excited for that.
because we're reaching into the mailbag, just like someone is reaching it.
Into
First question.
Into his
ball-
underpants.
the ball bag. Go on.
Ew.
Charlie asks.
Hello, Charlie.
It was a longer thing, but I kind of helped him find
Edit.
it down.
All right.
to
Distilled it.
I don't really know what distinguishes heavy hardcore and beatdown. I believe the conspicuous aspects of beatdown are the intense focus on groove and the even more apparent tough guy mindset. I'll even respond by expanding the question into what delineates heavy hardcore from XYZ grindcore, metalcore, metal, beatdown, noise, and other various extreme genres. Where's the line drawn? Is it all in the mindset of the people making the music? See Title Fight playing hyperview songs at a hardcore show, or as dudes from Title Fight will tell you, they think they're a hardcore band.
Yeah.
What is is it all in the mindset of the people making the music that makes it hardcore, or is it something else? Who gets a pass? Who gives a shit? Can't wait. Thank you, Charlie. Good question.
Charlie, great series of 35 questions in one message.
He's getting
My
his money
answer
for it.
is yes. No.
Heavy hardcore and beatdown.
I feel
Is
they're
there-
pretty different.
Yeah, I think that because I think a lot of bands can be incredibly heavy and not be beat down, but I think that a beat down band is not just a beat down, but is obviously a beat down band.
Yeah.
And how are we I think
There's no fast parts in beatdown. It's just
typically not many fast parts.
Right.
Just
Like you
mosh.
might get the fastest you might get in a beatdown band is maybe you get like a little mini gallop.
Yeah, but that's
But
about
it's
it.
like the mint leaf on the dessert that you flick off. You know what I mean? It's not really a part of the song.
For example, like Buried Alive is a heavy hardcore band,
That's right.
Sure.
but who's a beatdown band? Bulldoze.
Yeah, Bulldoze.
They are the preeminent.
They are
the
preeminent.
starter.
But
Bulldoze.
that's also that's where I think things
Their
get
roots beatdown.
confusing. Yeah, that's roots beatdown.
Because now Bulldoze would not sound like a beatdown
Not
band
at all.
compared
Not at
to
all.
the bands that have their offshoots.
yes,
Yeah.
and then there's genres that are
dirt metal,
like-
mosh metal.
No, like there's
Scum
ones
metal.
that are
Scum metal.
spiritually beat down, like slam, and I can't even
Like
define
internal bleeding.
Slam. You know
I
what
can define slam.
Oh, you can?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. Slam is definitely more. There's fast parts to slam, but then it's like
It's like
it
death metal
breaks.
with
It's
breaks?
death metal with breaks.
Okay.
Is slam. So
All
it's
right.
like
Like
internal
Fetus
bleeding,
is- right.
which is a band I wasn't familiar with till a couple years ago. But there's slam, and it's like obituary, but then with beat down breakdowns.
And could I? And the real question
And like
is,
some groove parts, death metal with a bass player who for some reason
can take a
thinks he
walk.
can really
yeah.
Take the bass for a walk.
right.
So well, could I?
Can I first tell you my obituary story?
Yes.
Absolutely.
When Obituary played with Napalm Death in Seattle, this is many, many years ago, I was standing in the middle of the pit, and Obituary was on stage.
Like daring people to come at you.
Yeah.
Like,
There was nothing happening. I was just standing there.
So you didn't have a braided goatee.
I wish. This is
bald head going bring it on.
that era.
Okay.
Pre that era. And the bassist of Obituary, Frank, who has since passed away, do I have that right?
R.I.P.
Was
Frank.
standing with a menacing look on his face, and he's playing, and he's about as far away as we are from apart. Listeners, that might be about a meter or two at the most, and maybe we were 3
You're spending
meters
too much
apart.
time.
3 feet,
You're
yep.
spending too much time in Europe. That's 3 feet. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? Interesting, I am. So, but I'm standing there, and he's looking down, and he's menacingly looking at me. And for whatever reason, I just held up both my middle fingers with a blank look on my face.
Because you were at an Obituary show.
And flipped him off, and just flipped him
as
off.
you
And he felt joy.
But the look on his face as he went from menacing to. Like what happened?
Like he was
his
hurt.
face dropped. Like he was genuinely, for a moment, hurt
You
by the
pained
fact
him.
that I flipped him off.
like he was trying to like have a connection with you. Like
We're menacing.
Yes,
we are
together.
menacing.
We're together in this,
half.
and you
Chopped in
you
half.
hit him
chopped
with
in
the
half.
no.
Feel the blood spill from
From
your
your-
bowels,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So, but I
meanwhile,
flipped
you're
him
like,
off. His
"I'm hurting."
face dropped, and then he went back to menacing. And for years, I thought I wanted to write to him and
say, "Hey, sorry about
apologize.
that time." Yeah.
Like, I thought
and
you
then
were giving
he
me- yeah.
fucking died.
You'll never
so
get
now
your
what do I
chance.
do?
Yeah, this is like
No, you know what?
in
This is your
AA.
mea culpa right here.
you did.
You're right.
We know. I mean, someone here
Frank-
knows somebody that knows somebody in Obituary.
So if you
Yeah.
know someone from Obituary,
Any of the Tardy
pass
brothers?
it along.
Tell them that Greg is really sorry for
now is this
flipping
long
off.
About the
haired
double
Greg,
middle
or is this like
finger.
hardcore Greg?
Hardcore Greg. Hardcore Greg. Yeah.
So
Can you imagine? I would love to be like, yeah, I don't care.
Yo, if I
Why
got
would you do that? To
Yeah,
me?
exactly. Why would you do that to me? Is exactly
So
what his
I would,
face looked
I
like.
would have imagined that he would have been doing that, got the double middle fingers, and been like,
Yeah, fuck you too, bro.
I thought we
Excited.
were going to deepen our relationship.
Yeah.
Right,
Instead, his face said, "Why did
Why
you
would
do
you do
that?"
that?
So
me, of all
yeah,
people.
you misread the room. That's
Yeah,
all.
I totally
It was,
did.
it was
It's a
the
show
move.
like that.
It was
You
the
think
show.
you did.
You know, other guys might have taken it, but he took it the wrong way. It's
did.
okay. That
He
happens.
did.
All right. So the difference between beatdown and heavy hardcore.
Okay.
Charlie.
Where would Obituary be?
So I, not heavy hardcore. I would say beatdown, lack of fast parts.
Yeah.
Some people put groove in there. I don't hear a lot of groove in
don't hear a lot
beatdown.
of groove,
I think
no.
it's a lot of choppiness and a lot more like thud. There's a thud to it. There's a low end without a groove.
I'd say you could
Lot of
have
riff.
groove, but it's certainly not requisite. You know.
Yeah, and it's not part of the formula per se.
No bridges. All riffs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, kids call things beat down pretty loosely now, in the same way that maybe kids call things new metal pretty loosely.
Was Bulldoze the first beatdown band?
I think
Yeah,
they
right?
were.
To my
I
knowledge,
always
to my
said
knowledge,
yes.
that's the
Like the first band that like called
That's the-
beatdown, right?
that's
Like,
the
I think so.
That's the first band I ever heard anybody refer to
as beatdown, and then it became like its
But
own
a beatdown.
genre.
Yeah, me
Blows my
too.
mind.
Which I think it's like Bulldoze actually does have a couple fast parts.
They
Am I
do.
wrong?
They're more of a-
like I think the
If you
roots
listen to it now,
beatdown.
you're like, oh, there's like a hardcore band.
Yes, exactly.
But
All
at
right.
the time, you're like, what the fuck is happening?
All right. Brad from X Augusta X
Be rad.
says, longtime listener, first time caller. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fuck one, kill one, marry one. This predates us doing the game on the air. So, intro bust. Intro. So Warzone. Intro changes. Floor punch. Intro grunt, which is rival mob. So which one do you F? Which one do you kill? Which one do you marry?
I would. I mean, you marry
marry-
intro bust.
Yeah, you marry Warzone.
I'd probably have intercourse with intro changes and then kill intro grunt.
Yeah, that's mine.
Swap those for me.
You're going with the
Go
rival mob song.
mob over.
Yeah, yeah.
Intro changes is just really a mashup of 2 or 3 different old, like late 80s intros. So I'm with it.
I'd kill Warzone.
Wow.
Really? You're not a
Warzone.
Warzone guy.
I absolutely would. No question about it.
Really?
Kill Warzone, marry rival mob.
Wow.
And just
Interesting.
fuck floor punch.
You have sex with the floor punch.
Yeah. Interesting.
Interesting. Fornicate
Yeah,
with
we've
floor
talked
punch.
about it on here. Warzone, are they a good band? Let's leave that for the ages. But emotional resonance with me just because it was something that it was really the first hardcore show I saw. So emotional
nailed it.
resonance for me.
Let's leave that for the ages.
Yeah.
Let's leave Warzone for the ages.
They're
I
iconic.
agree.
That's
They're,
a nice way
they're
of-
iconic.
Just 'cause
Let's
he's an icon.
He's an icon. Let's leave that one for the ages.
It's a very nice way of
Yeah.
being like buzz off.
Did you ever fuck with it musically? Or no?
For a little while, the second record I was pretty into for a while, and I remember seeing them at one point, and I can't remember exactly what year it was, and I remember being in awe because they were iconic,
Yeah,
and I was so
he's such
glad
a
that I
legend.
was
To see
seeing
it,
them.
right.
But like you said, I remember standing there thinking, do I love this as much as everyone else does? I'm not sure.
I think that's a
do.
feeling a lot of people went through.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got here? Kyle says, "Hey
Kyle.
dudes,
Hey, buddy.
K. Lyle.
K. Lyle.
I'm just doing what you do now.
No, but B-Rad is better.
Okay.
K.
My
Lyle
bad.
is a
My-
stretch.
my-
yeah, Kyle."
Kyle.
Kyle says, "Now my question: do the Code Orange / Jesus Piece / Vane kids ride for Coalesce? It seems like they would. Or are Coalesce lost to time? Ding, ding, ding.
Do we mean
The gear sharing story involving Coalesce ruining the drums was quite funny. So
Do we mean
I'm seeing
the
James
fans?
DeWeese tomorrow. I'm going to bring that up to him again and be like, remember that time you broke my drums?
Bring it up.
I still have heard about it for 20 years. No one's been able to borrow so much as a hi-hat clutch because of you. You fuck. I love you, but
Couldn't
you're...
borrow a throne.
I think people would fucking lose their goddamn minds over Coalesce, but I think it's lost to time.
It's
For those kids. Younger people.
so.
You mean if Coalesce was to like appear on the scene now as they were then?
Probably. I mean, then they were just like chaos, like throwing
Yeah.
fucking bass drums into the crowd. But as far as like...
Could a
whatever.
guitarist jerk off during a set now?
I'm sorry?
The guitarist to Coalesce used to jerk off.
I don't know.
Yeah, look it up. ask,
Wow.
ask him tomorrow.
Well, he's the drummer. But yeah.
But no, ask.
Now he's in the Get Up Kids.
Ask him if he recalls that.
jerking off during the set.
Yeah,
Hey,
not-
did Jess jack off during the set?
I'm almost 100% sure. Yes.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
but so
I
I
think
don't-
they're super heavy.
I
And
don't
I
know if
think
that would fly.
If
I think
kids were
Cole-
introduced to that, or like, hey man, check out this give 'em rope thing, they'd probably be way into it. I just don't think they are aware of it.
I think it's lost in time, and I think totally people would ride for it if they were
Super
familiar.
heavy. Yeah, it's just not really.
Because we're talking about the fans, not the actual kids in these bands. The kids in these bands, I'm sure, are familiar.
I mean, they're all musicians,
Yeah,
so they probably
yeah.
do know enough about them.
That's an interesting
Like
question.
Jamie Morgan definitely knows who Fun Coalesce is, and is like,
I bet so. I bet
100%.
so. I wonder if everyone, and it's not like to say everyone in every band needs
Yeah.
to know every band.
No.
But I think about that because there might be a dude in those bands who isn't familiar with something like that.
Oh,
and
there's
might like
always
it, you know?
one dude in every band who has never heard the things.
We do a podcast with one of them.
Never heard the things that you
But that
think
one
you should hear.
Takeshi 6ix9ine song was
Yeah.
pretty
Yes.
good last year. All right. So,
Boo earns. What else we got? What was,
what?
there-
I was just wanted to
Oh, okay.
see them. Joseph.
was there only one Fuck, Marry, Kill?
There was only
was
one.
it? There
Yeah, it
was
was just a random one. We just
Alright.
threw it in there. It was
That's-
a long time.
Okay.
If you're
All right.
feeling spicy, we can get to it later.
Joe asks, also, X band touring on X anniversary of release of X album and playing it in full. This needs some reining in, no? Question mark.
That's a good question.
I think it needs a little reining in.
Okay.
I do. Like, I can't imagine Trial going out next year and on the 20th anniversary of Are These Our Lives playing Are These Our Lives in full. It just seems so, like, self-inflating and gratuitous. I don't know. There's something about it
And
which,
here's right. No,
like, why would
This
why
is a
would
cool
we do
question.
that?
Yeah, it's a
for this
very good
room,
question.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know why I would want to. Why would we want to do that?
But I mean, I think, all right, I can say you guys are way more thoughtful about these sorts of things. If I think about the few records that I've done, and I don't, you can probably speak to this too. We didn't really think of like track listings.
No,
like if
it's the
you
thing
think about it
20
now, it's like
years into your career, you don't think about it when you're a kid.
right. So it's like, all right, those first 5 songs are the bangers. It dies in the middle a little bit.
Well,
like
that-
if we were to say to do like Unorthodox, Hallowed Be Thy Name would not be the last song.
Right.
Like
So-
that's what the fuck are we gonna do?
So let me
Not straight through, yeah.
Let me ask this.
Yeah.
Are These Our Lives? How much of it is classic material? You don't have to be humble. Like, how many songs would you say are necessary in a song?
For a trial set. Like
Well,
you're not inflating it just
Yeah.
for
No,
yours.
No. I mean, here's the thing: is that
10
like,
song set, you probably play 6, 7 songs.
we'll play probably six songs from it. And Tim and I always talk about this because Tim is of the opinion that there's 2 hits, right? Reflections and War by the Means are the 2 hits.
Those are the biggest hits.
The biggest,
of course,
right,
yeah.
right. But I see it differently because I put so much thought into it, right? That everything builds from everything else, and the record progresses.
Right.
So in my mind, it makes sense to play all of them, not because they're classic songs.
No, but because of the way you formed
Because
it.
the way I formed it, right? Lyrically, the way I formed it. But I mean, it doesn't, but then again, I go back to what I originally said. It doesn't necessarily make sense to do that just because it's the anniversary of the 20th thing. or
Right,
the 20th,
right.
It doesn't, we don't have to do that.
Sure.
But so in terms of how many are classics, I mean, to some people, they love the entire record front to back. But I think that the 2, those 2
Those
songs
are
are the
two
ones that are
tracks.
recognizable or the
Right.
ones
Like
that.
everyone knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everyone knows the fucking like.
Yeah,
that's,
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, it's just, it gets ridiculous. But, and then, War by the Means, of course, I
Yes.
think, I would say those two are the two, right? Realistically, if I'm speaking on behalf of all people. But in my mind, I always listen to it front to back.
Where are those spaced on the record?
Reflections is first. War by Other Means is second, isn't it? That's second on the record.
So really, if you were to do front to back and play your
reaction.
bangers up front,
that would be an interesting time.
It'd be an interesting time. Well, when,
so now, like one time that would be interesting to do, I guess.
Sure.
But maybe not like.
But when I was working on the record, I was inspired by Lou Reed, who in the New York album, he had a liner note that said, this album is meant to be listened to in its entirety, something like front to back, the way you'd read a book or watch a movie. And I remember thinking, holy shit, I want to write a record like that. So in my mind, it's basically a song. Yeah, it's just the whole deal, right? But that doesn't mean that everybody else goes, oh, I hope they play the whole story. It's like ridiculous.
And I think it's kind of cool if you go to a show and like you go, oh, wait a minute. Are they playing this whole record in order? Like,
I think that is cool. That's what I'm.
I think that's kind of. But going like, I mean, I've gone to those shows.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. Okay, so let's say somebody showed up at a trial show and we played the whole album front to back. I would hope they'd be excited. But I'd feel good about that. Yes. But I'd feel silly if we were like, "What's up, everybody? We're doing the record front to back. Come on out and check it out." It would just feel like,
If it was more organic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think. Do you think like we always talk about this, and we could be wrong? But that like putting a date on stuff makes you seem mad old.
It can.
That it's like, this is the 25th anniversary of fucking,
You know what? The first time that stuff started hitting, it sort of, because I mean, I wasn't around the very first time. Because like, if you look at, there's AF shirts that are like, or Chromags celebrating 10 years of the Age of Quarrel from like 1995 or 96, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think the first time like you become aware of it, it's like, that's kind of cool. Okay. Yeah. Like, yes, I do want to see Agnostic Front just play songs off Victim in Pain. That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
But because it's now as a holistic look, we're entering this time where, there's an awful lot of that. And it almost makes
Victim in Pain is 40 years old.
Yes, and it almost makes the whole world like. And I mean, I'll say this about Revelation. When Revelation did the 25th anniversary, I was like, rad, that's neat.
Absolutely.
When it was followed up by the 5 years later, the 30th anniversary, I was like,
that's unnecessary.
I was like, if it was 25th and then 50th, like, all right, that's a fucking lot of time.
30th just seems like kind of like arbitrary.
And off-air stuff for that. But the idea to me is like, are we getting into a world where like we've talked about this, it's 2018, outside of Minor Threat, I guess Inside Out, you could have seen any classic hardcore band you wanted to.
Those are the two. That's it.
Those are great. And neither of them will ever happen, and that's awesome.
But we also said that about Burn, and we said that about Judge.
Right, but I feel like Ian MacKaye will.
I don't think he will.
I'm not saying they should happen. I'm not saying they should happen.
Do you ever? Do you know him at all?
A little bit.
Well, you met him too. Do you ever foresee like it being? Is there any situation that might come up?
I'd bet every dollar in my pocket or world or somebody else's, because I don't have that much, that Inside Out would happen before Minor Threat. I agree. Even though I don't think that's likely either.
Right. Like if it was like
Zach's going to have to stop ordering burritos for a long time to have to do an Inside Out reunion.
Yeah. Right. Like I mean, because that's the thing. Like if he needed to say something happened that they really needed to raise money, he just goes, "We're going to do a couple of Rage Against the Machine shows." Millions of dollars per night.
Correct.
And then you're good. Or you do fucking you do Inside Out. We would all be stoked, but you'd make like 20 grand.
Yeah, okay.
You're right. You know what I mean?
But that's okay. So there's the wild card. And for listeners, Bob just pulled a deep cut. We know everything that not everything. We know Zach.
We know his burrito.
We know
order.
Zach De La Roca's burrito order.
Call us TMZ on that.
Yeah, we have insiders. But I would say it's not, for some people it's not about the money though. When let's say he does a Rage Against the Machine thing and then does the Ojai Women's Center with Inside Out for a benefit.
I think the reason is I think that a dude like Ian MacKaye, and I won't speak for the guy, but my belief is after having talked to him, I think he would say no. That was so specific a time and place for all of us.
Couple years,
and I'm still buddies with those guys. Whatever. It would be disingenuous to that time for us as humans to do it. And I won't do that to myself.
awesome.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. And I was so amazed, as all of us were, when the picture came out of them sitting on the steps last month, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's happening!" It's like,
they do it every year, and they just don't take a
photo. They took a photo of themselves.
But
That's
apparently
what
they've
happened.
done that like every year since the
I didn't know that.
beginning.
For a long time, yeah.
And they like it just this was the first one that ever got like published.
Oh wow!
So like they're doing a coffee table book, a Minor Threat coffee table book. And this was like they get together every year to just discuss Minor Threat business and kind of all
Hang
the stuff
out.
with Discord and just like catch up.
Yep.
And they literally take this photo every year. This is the first time it actually
Got published.
got somewhere.
How is it that these guys were so advanced in their thinking? Meaning, like, how
We
is
talk
it?
about that all the time.
I mean, like, how is it that Fugazi recorded every show? How
So
did
here's
that
the
happen?
thing.
Yeah.
The very first he came, I did a class at NYU about hardcore, this, that, and the other, and we had Ian come and speak. The first question I said to him was, "All right, so why did you start documenting everything right away? Right at the beginning,
Absolutely.
start documenting everything." And they have a collection at Discord of as much ephemera as he can get his hands on, and he's still active. I brought up some guy who is in possession of this big zine collection from LA, where it was like a photo-based zine that they handed out, like a one-page zine. It shows that was just pictures from shows, like not of the bands, but people. And he's like, "Oh shit!" And he's like, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh, you're in a few of them." And here, the guy who had this collection was showing. He's like, "Oh, do you have his contact info? I need that." And like, he's very actively tracking that stuff down. But he said, "I was like, why did you start doing
why?
that? Like, why did you?
How would you know?
did you know?
Yeah.
Not everybody who starts a band in their garage is like, let me make sure we have our tape. Let's keep one of these flyers."
No
But they
matter
didn't,
what-
and he just shrugged his shoulders. He's like, "I don't know."
like
Yeah.
now you can
And
have
I think it was more just
forethought.
like the type of person
I was
he
going to
is.
say, no matter what his answer was going to be, I was going to disregard it. That's just
Yes.
a type of person.
His answer was a shrug, and that's
Yeah.
who he is.
Because now you can think about it, go like, oh, you know what? I want to make sure I keep track of all this sort of stuff. I have a ton of like ephemera from like Indecisionship, but like not from the get go. And now imagine it's 1980 and like punk's been around for a couple of years. Like how would you ever think like we really need to like archive
Let's
all
grab
of
things.
this
I know
stuff?
it doesn't, and it's
amazing.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
There's some. I want to get the link for it, but there's somebody did basically a Fugazi zine that was like an infographic that they were able to kind of distill of all the info that Discord had about like, because Fugazi, every show they played in DC was a benefit show.
Right.
Every single one they ever played, they made as a benefit.
Right. Like
and
Wilson
basically
Center or something, right? Wasn't it?
everything, every show they ever played, where they were playing on the mall or playing at some place, they never took any money for a show they played in DC, and they raised money and they kept track of it. So the zine published all the money they had raised for all these various charities.
Wow.
High five figures for several of them.
Wow.
Which is outrageous to think about. So Minor Threat reunion, not happening.
No.
Inside Out reunion, not happening. To get back to it,
Do you think they get it? Do you think? I'm sorry. to
No,
interrupt.
please.
Do you think they get offers on like a regular?
oh, they
Yeah,
definitely
I'm sure
did.
they
Like Coachella,
Yeah.
like apparently Coachella was like, we'll throw you a couple million for Minor Threat, and he was like, I'm not doing
Yep.
it. But like, do you think Inside Out, like, who has the goal to be like, well, who can get in touch? Because I'm sure if you were like, hey Vic, or Mark Hayward, like, do you want to? Chris Pratt, what's up?
I
you don't
don't-
think any of these dudes would do it? It's only up to Zach, clearly. But like, if someone's like, "Hey, man, so and so has cancer, we need to do this benefit," he would just write a fucking check. It's just
Right.
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 Unless he really wants to do that.
Yep.
The offers have come in, and
I'm sure,
there's
yeah.
one person who says no.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah. So Chris Pratt doesn't want to do it. That's so
That's
weird.
Brad. it's Mark Hayworth. You know? No, the thing to me is, so you can see every band, and like every day that goes by, I think it's awesome for us to celebrate. And like part of the reason this podcast, I hope, is cool in any way is that it encourages people to look back and to be looking forward. But your position as an individual with hardcore should not be strictly backwards facing.
Sure.
And looking for the reunion show and whatever. I hope that younger people are looking back here and there to pick up a thing or two, maybe, and see what
It's
cool shit
history.
is back there.
Yeah.
History, and just there is a living, breathing element to all of it. But if you're not facing front and seeing what's happening now, you might be losing out on some cool experiences.
I had an interesting conversation in an airport. I ran into Jamey Jasta a few years ago, and we knew each other back when Trial and Hatebreed toured Southern California,
Right.
played garages, and Trial was playing over Hatebreed
Yeah.
because no one knew who they were.
Sure,
right?
sure.
And 10 kids would come per show. But we sat down and we talked for a little while, and he was telling me that, with no disrespect intended, he stopped telling kids, and this is 10 years ago, he had stopped telling kids, know your roots, listen
Yeah.
to Agnostic Front, Victim in Pain,
Right. Right.
You know, you mentioned it
Right.
before. You know, he just stopped telling him because how do you tell a 20-year-old listen to this album that came out when you were born?
Correct.
Yes,
Right.
100%.
Right.
We talk
why?
about it on the
Yeah,
podcast
all the time.
It's a just as the same in the same respect that I don't have an interest in like music from 1973.
Exactly.
Like,
But I listen to fucking Black Sabbath.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's iconic, and it created all the music you listen
Right,
to.
but AF
do you,
is.
Do you listen to the Mamas and the Papas or
Couple
Gladys
tracks.
Knight
Couple
and
hits.
the Pips or some?
Well,
you know what I'm
but then
saying?
you don't
Like-
connect to it. Even if you do listen to it, it's
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Is
Oh,
that
God,
regular? you know?
September?
Well, I mean, these are great, great.
I was grooving
music.
that.
Bob is saying literally yes to
I
every
know
question
he is.
you
I know he
have.
is. But I'm saying,
But
this
no,
is
he's
great
right. The
music.
thrust is
Like,
exactly right.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course.
I shouldn't have said 73.
No,
what I
no.
should have said is 76.
Sure.
For this reason, because something
That's you were born?
No, because something that squarely
78.
happens before
80.
I'm born.
Yeah.
Something that squarely happens, but isn't classic. Isn't like I have this theory that people do not like the thing that their older brother was into. You know what I mean? Like there's just a pushback against maybe not even older brother, older your
uncle or
your
something.
uncle that's cool.
Because my brother, you know, I was in his gym. He has a gym in Manhattan. Go lift weights at the Live Well Company. He go work out there. But he was in the gym and he was playing all his music in the gym. And I was like, I introduced him to that. I introduced him to that. I introduced him to
Feeling
that.
it, right,
But
yeah.
anyway, go on.
Now, is Daryl older or younger?
Daryl is 2 years younger than me.
Nice.
shit,
Good job,
I
older brother.
Yep.
Way to go.
I think that there is a pushback. I think I'm more likely to listen to something that maybe not my father. He's 112, but like something that my father listens to than something that
So like a Duke Ellington record
yeah.
versus got it.
Well, I mean, I
American
hear what
Revolution.
you're. So I hear what you're saying because I think there's validity there, but I also think a lot of it's the presentation.
Yeah.
Tom and I have talked about this a couple times. The people who are older than you, who were around when you got into stuff, were kind of dicks,
Total dicks.
and gatekeepers.
Yeah,
That's
you're
a good
not. You
point.
don't know. You don't deserve to have this
Right,
burn
yeah.
7-inch.
Whereas,
They used to do it, I mean-
whereas the people who are directly older than me in my area
Yeah.
were really cool. Like I remember having like 2-hour phone calls with the dudes who were now. When I look back, I was 15 and they were 18.
Right,
But like
right,
on the
yeah.
phone, like them explaining the Bad Brains and explaining DC to me and
Yeah.
all this stuff, and like how cool that was. And if I didn't have that, how fucking different my relationship to older stuff would have been versus current.
Right.
And I think a lot of that is in presentation, and it's a lot like you're saying. The theory is interesting because the older brother or the dad or the cool uncle who's not that cool, maybe he's a dick about his music. He thinks he's cool. It's about the way you're presenting it, and it's the same thing in hardcore now, today, tomorrow, forever. Because if you were presenting old bands like, oh, you don't know your roots, you don't know Warzone,
Yeah, then
you
no one's
fucking
gonna-
missing out. None of your shit's good.
Yeah.
Oh, you listen to this, that.
Yeah.
Fucking. You're immediately everybody's gonna reject that. Fuck you, man.
Yeah.
You think about
Yeah.
this for you when explaining your musical taste. The youth crew dudes were dickheads to
Yeah.
you. It just straight up and rejected everything
And
you
fastcore
liked.
stuff.
Undoubtedly, my distaste for fast hardcore comes from the fact that the people that were into it in my circle were unpleasant people.
Unpleasant and unpleasant to you about your
Choices.
your
Your
knowledge of
interest
it, and
or-
you,
Yeah.
like your knowledge of it in that moment.
Yeah, for sure.
When I met a young Gregory Pikachu Falchetto, he was into Fury 5, Hatebreed. He did like certain things like Floor Punch, etc. But and other friends, Dave Ackerman, were like, yo, he likes the fucking worst garbage. Fuck that shit. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I tried to find the thing that I liked that was closest adjacent to that. Like, oh, I like this stuff. Do you like? Have you heard the breakdown demos? Do you listen to Killing Time? You know.
Yeah. Mhm.
And like, it sucks to say it, but like, extending that kind of energy is 110% going to return a better yield than Patrick, you didn't listen to the Pressure Release demo? You fucking poser tool.
Right.
There is
You've never
nothing
heard the
cool,
Enough
yeah.
demo? Like, come on, no. There's nothing fun about
No.
that, and it's not the way you share music. It's not the way you share anything.
No.
You don't share music that way by being a gatekeeper. Like, fuck that.
There's nothing cooler and better feeling than sharing music with somebody.
I agree.
Something that you
100%
love that you're like, just check this out. You may not like it, but just please just give this a chance and not kind of. But I had a fucking shitty druggy cousin that loved Ozzy Osbourne. I still look at Blizzard of Oz and I go, because of this.
Yeah.
Because
so fucking good. Oh my
no,
god.
I know, but like I can
So
picture the cassette, like the Columbia House, like cassette, where it's like the cover is up here and like
Yeah.
is
Yep.
writing
Yeah,
down
yeah,
here,
yeah.
and
Yep.
the case is part clear and part black.
Yeah,
I can picture that.
Total disrespect for the album art. It's very-
Yeah, but that dude, like this dude was such a shitball
Yeah.
that I think of him when
You
I think
associate it. It's like a triggering.
Yeah.
Sensation.
Yeah.
What about the outtakes for that album art? I'd like to see that. I bet there's some really good
Oh
pictures.
yeah, I'm sure there's some great photos of that.
So, anyways, don't be a gatekeeper. Share the music you love with other people because it feels good. And eventually, if you know them, you'll be able to share music that maybe you like or think is cool that you think they'll like. That band I sent you, the Beths, I was like,
Fucking
I was
awesome.
like, this is cool. I bet
spread the
Tom would
word.
like it.
People
it was
love it.
nice. So share the shit you like. Our reunions of anniversaries, yeah, but just don't overdo it. Right?
Don't
That's what
overdo
we're
it.
saying?
Just don't overdo it. Yeah.
I have very mixed feelings on this because I when I was working for a booking agent, I saw the cynicism that goes into the cynical nature
that goes into these things.
When you were booking the New Miserable Experience 20th anniversary tour.
No, I definitely went to that last year. It's a good record. But every record has a couple of fucking duds.
Oh yeah,
There's very few records that go from 1 to 12, whatever, that are like, this song is better than the last one.
Yeah.
This song's better than the last one.
A good friend of mine, who shall remain unnamed only because I don't know if he would want me sharing his name and his opinion, contends that there are only, he says there are only, was it 5 or was it 3 hardcore LPs in the history of the genre that deserve to be LPs? All others should be.
I maintain the same thing. I think I've gone on record here.
No. Okay, do
What
you
is it?
remember
Do you
the
know the
three?
three?
Let me text him
Please
and
do.
ask. I know that, and I'm going to get it out of the way first. I know that he's really in the Trial album, and he feels that the Trial album is one. Let's get that out of the way.
that's nice. Okay.
Let's get that out of the way. But the ones that are
Good humble brag. I like that. That's pretty good.
no, but I mean it. I'm just saying. I'm getting it out of the way because when I list it, I don't want to just be like,
like,
oh,
Oh, and
surprise.
there's
that's
a fourth
right.
one that he
that's
just
right.
added it.
In
Right.
terms of records that everybody would agree on,
Universal.
like, yeah.
Okay.
Like,
I mean-
let me ask.
All right, so
It's gotta
here's.
be Age of Quarrel and Killing Time.
I mean, there's a lot of people who would have different opinions.
There's people that think that there's duds on Age of Quarrel.
You do.
I think the record's a dud, but I'm saying
You're
that,
out of your
No, not you. Tom. Like,
But I mean,
Tom.
like-
Tom has one
Yes,
track.
But even
yes.
dude,
You
I would give
maintain
my
this.
I
No,
would
you
give
wouldn't.
a fucking lung to even write the bad song on Age of Quarrel.
Yes.
Sure.
If you were like, "Yo, Seekers of the Truth, do you want this song?" I'd be like,
I'll take
Fuck
it.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
let me put this
exactly.
out there. I have friends who I respect their opinion on hardcore so much who are like, Out of Step, bad record.
Wowza.
Wow.
Wowza.
Think it's like, yeah, the 7 inches, fantastic. Then they hit Out of Step. Bummer.
Oh, no, stop.
know.
"Is there
I
a bad
know.
That
Minor Threat
person's
song?"
trying. No, there's not. That person's trying entirely too hard.
No.
Hold on. I'm gonna be the weird.
Go get. This is so good because
Be the
in his
gatekeeper.
bag
No,
about it.
I'm gonna be internet like everything's problematic kid. Yikes. That's my response to that.
You're canceled.
That person is fucking canceled. That's insane.
Is there a bad Minor Threat song?
No, so I did the whole
The B side of In My Eyes, 7 inch. Guilty of Being White and Stepping Stone, I think is
So Stepping Stone, I don't
both
love.
songs.
Stepping
Those are
Stone.
good songs, but if you had to live off one half of a record, it's that or
Stepping Stone's
or
a good song.
what's the
Skip,
B?
We Love You.
What's the B side of Salad Days?
Little friend or something.
no, that's all right. I mean, every song's great.
Right?
is the
I mean, there's
problem.
really no.
Yeah, I listened to the entire discography and
Yeah, it's
examined
perfect.
every song, and
It's
even the songs
incredible.
that I thought I did not like as a kid, I think are perfect. I think that it's the only band I can think of that has
Cashing In
10
might be
Cashing In
the
is the-
one that I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I love Cashing In.
I'm Ian, and I'm from Minor Threat.
You've heard my cover of it.
See, I like it.
I mean, it's funny.
I love
It's
it.
funny, but yeah, I mean, at the time, it was punk. It was punk of him to do that and
Right,
throw
no,
that
sure.
weird
Correct.
stuff in.
Yeah.
You know, whereas now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Right.
Tom. I'm from.
Yeah, you'd be like,
Indecision.
yeah,
You'd be
what
Is
the
that?
fuck
I
is
didn't
this?
know
Yeah.
people didn't like that song. I love
I mean,
it.
if I had to pick a song, but I mean, if your last song is a
Yeah.
band to be Salad Days, you're like, good night, see you later.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is as good as
Salad
it's
Days.
gonna get.
That's still the song when I listen to it, I get chills. But I mean, think about that. That I think there is a list of what I would consider perfect hardcore records. But like, I'm putting Age of Quarrel on, and Patrick's saying I don't like a second of it.
No, but I would.
You wouldn't say it's
I,
good.
n- I would defer to the trillions of people that
Yes.
think it's utterly perfect, and just say that this must be a personal.
Yeah,
matter of
I
taste
want.
on
I
my
think
part,
I'm
you know
gonna.
what I mean?
I think we're gonna go to. I'm gonna have a couple of guys from the Chromax take you to the market,
Please.
and like
I mean, he's at
treat you good
Greenpoint right now.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're,
yeah.
they're
We got
gonna
Mackie and
treat you
JJ over
good,
here.
like have a nice, and then see if they can
Warm me
get
up,
rid of
butter me up
the
to this.
negative.
Maybe do a
Chromax
weak shot
hate.
with JJ.
I would do a wheatgrass shot with JJ for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, and probably go walk some dogs with them. I
Smoothies,
bet.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then
Preston
it's
Tardy
like,
will punch
oh
you.
yeah, when everyone was liking the Chromags in the late '90s, and I was averse to that. Maybe I get it. All right,
We've
you
got
your
text
list?
bubbles.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Text bubbles back from my friend, so we'll hear what he has to say. He's typically a long texter,
Okay.
so this might take a while.
Well, so
Anyway, we'll get back to it.
So let's get back to it. Let's do another question. Hey y'all, not sure if this was covered in an older episode, that I haven't listened to yet. But what would you?
How dare you?
I know. Seriously.
First of all, how dare you? I got a question for you.
What would you guys say was the point in time when hardcore and punk really started to become different entities? In the early to mid 80s, it seems like nearly every punk band was a hardcore band, but somewhere in the 90s, there was a definite divide between what was punk and what was hardcore. Was it a combination of the youth crew scene and Bad Religion putting out Suffer and getting more melodic? That's a weird reference. Yeah. Or was it later when shit like Green Day and Rancid started blowing up? Thank you, Dan.
I would say, I mean, Black Flag's a hardcore band. And not a punk band to me.
I think absolutely. I actually think
it DOA is when they did Hardcore 82? Is that the definitive split?
I don't know.
I might go Black Flag My War.
I feel like they're a hardcore band.
I feel like Damaged, you could still I'd say, well, okay, Nervous Breakdown, Jealous Again, that stuff's still punk. Damage, it's a lot of their older songs and like some real punky stuff. But then with My War, that's not punk.
That's not punk. And so I have a feeling on this, which is this is all not rose-colored glasses, but this is all retrospect talk.
Correct.
Because I believe that from 1980 you have a deep divide and a incontrovertible divide. You know what I mean? I really think that
I've also got another answer.
But people also act back then. It's like, dude, everything was hardcore punk.
Hardcore punk.
And then it became.
I think up until the late 80s, 88 for some reason in my mind.
It's the dividing line.
Yeah, not about the dividing line, but I just remember going to shows and just thinking oh, that's obviously a straight edge band. And it was the rise and explosive rise of straight edge. And then you could tell the difference between that band and a band like The Undead, who were touring at the time, who were most definitely a punk band.
No,
right?
sure.
Yeah. So.
Oh, by the way, I saw a picture of the Misfits the other day. Oh, fuck. I got to remember who showed it to me. But it was from 1995. I'm going to get it sent to me right now. From 1995 when someone was trying out for them. And it's Doyle and Jerry without makeup on. Have you ever seen a picture of them without makeup on?
No.
I was shocked.
I will get it.
Find a picture.
Yeah.
No, huh?
Bad from 23 years ago?
It's insane. You just won't believe it when I show it to you.
Wow.
All right.
So my friend says, by the way,
yes,
Life, Love, Regret, Unbroken, he says, is a complete record and should not be a shorter record. Earth Crisis, Destroy the Machines, he feels was a perfect hardcore record front to back. And I asked him not the Judge record, not Gorilla Biscuits, because those are two records that I think to myself.
Put in there?
The first time I heard the Judge LP, I'd never heard anything like it in my life. But he's suggesting, and he hasn't written back to my question about not Judge, not Gorilla Biscuits, that the Judge record would be better with a few songs taken off of it, and as would Gorilla Biscuits. I'm not convinced about that.
What could you take off a Star Today that's
I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't
there might be a track, but I still think
But
it's
I mean, not
good.
enough to make it a 7-inch.
No. Or so
this person's about 42 years old.
Wow,
he says, Judge, because it would make two better EPs. The songs are good, but I almost never choose to listen to start to finish. Gorilla Biscuits is pretty arguably perfect. I can recognize that, but to me, it's kind of bland, and it's a bland and safe record to me these days. It's no steady medium, that it has no peaks and valleys. It's just great, but I just don't personally care about it anymore as a record. So he's saying it hasn't resonated the way that, for example, I mean, I know for me, I listened to Age of Quarrel, and I'm just like, how was this possible?
Yeah.
How did this
right?
And I feel this. I feel the same about the Youth of Today LPs too. I'm just like, how did this happen?
How did these kids make this?
I ask that constantly. How did from this a sociological perspective? How did a group of people like us, a bunch of random idiots, come together and create something that was so potent and real and unique and original that we're still talking about it 30-something years later?
And talking to that, GB doesn't do that for me. I love Star Today. It's one of my probably top 10 hardcore records, but I don't how.
You don't marvel at it.
No, I think it's great, but it's like 7 Seconds did this fucking 8 years ago.
I was just looking to start today. I think I could cut off 4 songs.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
and I like the record. I like the record.
Ones?
But
yeah, please pull it up.
Let's see.
Go back to your history, bro.
It's just Cats and Dogs over and over for him.
For me, honestly,
really?
Yeah. I mean, I love the song.
When we do the special feature coming this summer, like
how Bob has everything lit.
No, this one's got a reason it's in the summer. We're doing a special. It's going to be NPR style, Revelation Summer.
Instead of Revolution, smart.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
Are we getting what's his name, Ira Glass, to come down and?
We don't need Ira. Get out of here,
I could be
Ira.
Ira Glass.
We got plenty.
You are counting now with your fingers.
Two Sides, First Failure. I don't need either of these songs.
First Failure is a great song.
I don't need either of those songs. How's Good Intentions
Two
start?
Sides.
I don't know if I need that.
Trial and error, good
Yeah,
intention.
it's
I'm not positive. I'm not perfect. I'm decisive. Trial and error.
Oh, sure. My bad.
You just for that
My
line. You
bad.
need
bad.
it.
Not, yeah, it stays. It stays.
I think if you listen to this record, you probably keep it
Biscuit
more.
Power?
Is this your favorite Rev classic record? It might be.
It might be. Let me take
I think
a
it
look.
is.
Well,
What
you
version
guys,
of Biscuit Power? Oh, is Biscuit Power?
That's not on there. That's bonus tracks. Like
Yeah.
2 bonus tracks on the CD.
You know that song.
Oh, that's so. Wait,
Sitting around
where-
homes on
where
it.
did
There's
the-
Bonus tracks. Those don't count.
where did that first appear? Not
Biscuit Power?
7-inch. Oh, no.
No, it's a comp. Where the Wild Things.
Rebuilding comp, right?
Rebuilding or Where the Wild Things Are.
Okay, so
That's right.
so the actual record ends with Cats and Dogs.
That's right.
Okay.
Sitting around at home. Sitting around
I actually
at
I love
home.
that song, but there's
Not my favorite.
But,
No, not mine
But
either.
that's like an additional.
Those
you know.
aren't on the album. So
Would you cut
Okay.
off the other 90 tracks that are on the CD version of
yeah.
it?
Original
Are you
CD.
familiar with that?
So the original Grill
New
Biscuits.
Haven version.
Had it in my hand. Had it in my hand in the record store and didn't buy
Fuck.
it. Yeah.
So
At the same time
should have done
as
this
in
with
order
your
to
record.
fund my band's first 7-inch, the process of elimination 7-inch, I sold my gold vinyl copy of the Together comp. I sold my first press Warzone. I sold everything at $10 each in the record store.
It's a shame because you could just buy a car now. With
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
But the New Haven Revelation version of Start Today is cut up into 99 tracks.
And there's some weird stuff near the end where it's like them prank calling managers and shit.
Right, and like their manager being like, "You're gonna be in jail," like Roger and the judge singer.
Yeah.
And we met that guy, Doug Carrion.
Did you?
We met him in like Vermont.
The original bass player of the Descendants, right?
I think there's
Not
two separate
original,
guys,
but he was.
though.
Oh, you're
I don't know
right.
if they're the
I
same.
think you're right.
Same name.
You're right. You're right. You're
'Cause
right.
we
You're
were
right.
Justin and I were trying to figure it out. This is 20
Yeah.
fucking years ago. But we're like, holy shit, because he's
Is
like,
it the dude from Descendants? And it's like no.
no,
it
it's
just
a
had
guy
the same
from.
name.
He was like managing Gorilla Biscuits.
hold up. What's the classic? When does the classic Rev cut off?
21.
Oh, 21?
Yeah.
What's 22? Slipknot.
No.
22 is Burn, self-titled 7-inch.
Oh, then
Then
it goes to
it's
Burn.
22.
That's where it stops.
Okay, yeah, stops with Rain Purcell. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Then the Sick of It All 7-inch?
Uh-huh.
That, like,
You
what,
like it
two?
more than Start Today?
I think I do, yeah.
Okay.
So, and then it's definitely Start Today would probably be my.
Yeah, I think that makes sense for you.
Oh no, Inside Out is in there.
Oh yeah. Inside Out's your number one.
Inside Out's probably number one.
Mm-hmm.
Sick of It All number 2. Gorilla Biscuits number 3. And then you. Oh, is that the Shit Shelter record or not the Shit Shelter?
It's not the best. It's good. It's not.
Is Inside Out
It's
the
not
best part for
close.
7-inch?
Yeah, it is.
For you guys or just in general?
In general.
No, not for me.
Would
but
you
it's a good
Antidote?
one. No, best filler. Minor Threat.
Yeah, all right, fair.
Yeah,
We
you
were
can-
talking, not part of this question, but Greg thinks he accidentally fucked around and saw the Alone in the Crowd show. Because you're talking about Jules being on the show.
Yeah, totally.
And I
because-
was like writing it down. He's like, I was there.
I grew up in
Zero.
Connecticut, so I was going to the Anthrax all the time, and I saw Judge twice because it was Judge Alone in the Crowd. You said
Hogan's
Hogan's
Heroes.
Heroes and Chain.
And Chain.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I was
That's
definitely
yeah, so you saw that show.
for sure.
The
'Cause I
guys-
remember Chain of Strength playing, and
Right.
I remember at the time I was a little skeptical about straight edge, meaning I don't even think I was drinking,
Right.
But I was like, oh god, every week there was a new cassette demo
Yeah.
in the record store
With
with
an
like
X'd up hand on
X'd
it.
up hands,
Yeah.
bleached, crew
Yeah.
cut,
Sure.
and white high tops.
I would be a bit suspicious
Well,
myself.
well, the thing is, I started out listening to punk rock. Like I was listening to the Proletariat, Code of Honor, like all these
Yeah.
like super interesting.
Pleasure.
Yeah. And I just remember thinking, okay, so we don't drink, and that sets us apart. But then all these like bands
then it's
are
all the
exactly
same.
alike.
Yep.
Everyone's all,
Right.
like, where's this
Oh,
going?
the great hypocrisy of youth group.
Yeah, but I was just like, where's it going? So I was a little skeptical of it, and I remember, I distinctly remember watching Chain of Strength, thinking, I don't know, but I'm almost
You were
positive
right
it was
in that.
show.
You were right in
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
to say,
yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
And you're
right,
like,
yeah,
I'm not.
All right,
sure about these guys."
another fun fact about that show is the singer of Hogan's Heroes. So
Skip School.
local to the Jersey Shore.
Old school 101.
It was like, oh, so you were at the Alone Crowd show? Oh yeah. I was sleeping in the van, and the rest of the band, where were you guys? Oh, I don't know. We were hanging in the van, just chilling.
But I mean, who
the whole
would've
band
known?
missed it.
But you know what? Though at the time, like, how the fuck would you ever thought? Like, you know how many bands that I probably missed?
Yeah, I know.
That I was like, that went on and
Yeah.
played a show and never did anything again, and no one gave a fuck.
Yeah. I know.
Just so happened that this dude's band fucking mattered 30-something years later.
Okay, so to get back to this question, because that the Perfect Records is a conversation we're going to have at some point, and we got to go deep dive on that. The split between punk and hardcore. All right, let me give a anthropology answer here. There's some aesthetic stuff that happens. There's somebody might point to in 1980, Black Flag and the Dead Kennedys both do DIY booked tours. That's kind of, and if you follow the track of Black Flag on that tour, this is where the Midwest started. Here's where Boston starts. Here's New York
to think about.
Here's DC really starts kicking into gear and realizing we can do this shit ourselves. People might argue that it starts around there, and that there's a significant separation between what was going on in the United States as far as New York punk and punk music and Golden Voice shows and booking a DIY. We're playing a fucking club that we called and just set up our own show. So that somebody might point at that. Some people might go, it's when hardcore's look started becoming different from punk or an aesthetic. My answer is that when the first generation of hardcore bands, all the Midwest, Boston, DC, when those bands stopped doing their hardcore bands and started doing whatever it was that was next, whether it was the Revolution Summer stuff, whether it was like the heavier rock kind of stuff in the Midwest, whether it was the butt rock of Boston, and then a group of people like Youth of Today, even the bands who fall in between those two things, 7 Seconds, Uniform Choice. But when those bands said, no, not your new bands, no, not Laughing Hyenas, not the new Necros LP, we want IQ 32, we want the Nair Approach 7-inch, we want the first two SSD records, not the second two. And they codified hardcore as a sound and it became a genre and said, these are the loose definitions of hardcore. And by the way, we're going to attach more of a look to it too. And it wasn't just Youth of Today. It was a whole world that did that started looking back at the first wave, because those first wave bands, be it Deep Wound moving to Dinosaur, be it the DC dudes moving into more rock-oriented bands, those bands were still holding on to the same ethos and way they did things, but just a different sound. So when it became hardcore is this sound and not just a mentality, that's when it separated.
I just learned so much, because my answer was like the nursery school version of what you just said. Right. I basically was like, straight edge 88 or so, but you're saying more like 85, 86 because ... insert,
because they said,
here.
Because if you go and look at, say, Schism Fanzine or all those things, those guys are literally going, listen to these records. This is hardcore. Here's a collage photos of hardcore records. And we're excluding this shit. We're excluding even places like Chicago that had burgeoning hardcore scenes, but then it kind of got rock pretty quick. They're like, no, none of that. Yeah. None of that. None of they're like, these are the ones. We're codifying it and saying this is it, and that's what our band sound like, and this is what we're doing. This is hardcore. So it's a weird thing. I would say, and that's a split.
Am I crazy to think? I mean, you're the historian.
A little.
Was there a New York punk?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Harleys, the John Josephs, the Jimmys, they were hardcore kids from the get-go.
They were.
Punk in New York was like fucking television.
So that's where it is. Ooh, this is such a good question.
It's not like Circle Jerk.
No. This is so good. I'm so glad you asked it, because it's so fascinating. That's why I like the New York early 80s more than anything else. New York was late to hardcore. It sounds crazy to say that. Here's why. New York had punk in a weird way. So they had television and all that shit. But then they also had stuff like the Stimulators and the Mad and these weird kind of like punk bands that existed from 79, 80, 81. And the Bad Brains moved to New York. Sure. And there's some of this A7 stuff's just starting to bubble. But in other places like DC, Boston, the Midwest, shit is coded. It's like, here we are. We're touring. We're doing the whole thing. And in New York was still fucking wild. That's why, to me, Antidote, Urban Waste, The Mob, AF, those are so much more, and all the big city record shit. That stuff's interesting to me, because if you listen to all the Boston bands, they have a sound. If you listen to the DC bands, you can tell they're all DC bands. Listen to the Midwest bands, they're all Midwest bands. They all have kind of a similar sound.
New York does.
The New York bands don't. Sure. They're all fucked up. They're all coming from different backgrounds. They're all kind of scrapping to get some weird recording. Listen to the Urban Waste 7-inch. It doesn't sound anything like United Blood. No. Listen to the Antidote 7-inch. It doesn't sound anything like The Mob.
No.
They were a smaller scene, which is crazy to say in New York.
Biggest city in the world, in the country or in the world.
But they're having shows at A7 to 30 people, you know, and so they were hardcore kids, but they were like punks. Like if you ask Harley, he was a punk and a skinhead guy, and those guys were punks, and they were like they were hardcore, but they were just fucking street kids, really.
So you're saying that the diversity in the songs came from New York, late to the game, trying to figure out
what the fuck it was,
what we were doing,
and it was such a diverse cast of characters coming from diverse backgrounds, because you had the kids from Queens coming in, you had people who were street kids, you had the difference. Like I always say this, to my way of looking at the Cro-Mags and the way I would sell Patrick on the Cro-Mags is fuck all the hype, fuck all the dudes who are like mosh, it's fucking mosh. The Cro-Mags are the coolest art punk band that there's ever been. You've got Harley, a kid who wrote a book with Ginsberg, who was the first American punk, who was
such a good story about that.
I want to hear it. Pin in that. 14-year-old drummer. You have a rhythm section of guys named Doug and Paris. Doug, who was in Kraut. Paris, a weird dude from the Upper East Side, who was like a latchkey kid. You have
JJ.
Mackie, drum for shorts. And then you have Paris. Paris is a kid from the Village whose parents were like beatniks.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I always thought he was
and they
an
were
Upper
like
East
beatnik
Side
artist
guy.
kids.
Like,
Yeah, no.
oh.
Then and like
Doug's from Astoria.
and
Mackie was a graffiti guy.
Right. And JJ is a weird dude who
from Virginia.
Right, who was in New York under different means. Yes, from Virginia Beach.
Right.
Yo, that's a weird collection of fucking humans who then put out a record after years of crafting it.
Right.
That sounds like nothing else and still sounds like nothing else.
Right.
So that is New York, and all those records, when you listen to it, you can really hear a Boston sound, you really hear a DC sound, really hear a Midwest sound. But the New York shit is all fucking all over the place because they didn't have one studio and they didn't have one ringleader, and that's excluding bands like Reagan Youth and MDC and shit like that, which were other big starter bands at the time. Yeah. So it's fucking fascinating. Difference between hardcore and punk, not much of one, but if you want it, there it is.
So the Harley Flanagan book.
Yes,
Harley
please.
Flanagan puts out a book when he was a kid called Stories and Poems by Harley, and it's basically drawings, as you know, but maybe our listeners don't. It's basically drawings of him fighting dragons and mythical creatures.
Right.
And it's
I've
like
never seen
drawings
it. I know of it.
Amazing.
Okay, so this hardcover book, about 8 inches by 6 inches or so. So I got a copy of it. I don't remember where I got a copy of it, but years ago, Allen Ginsberg was teaching at Brooklyn College, and a friend of mine, the guy I'm staying with tonight, actually, my friend Rich, he sings in a band called M13. Was you got a picture of it there?
That's awesome.
Sweet. So Rich was studying with Ginsberg, and I said I really want to sit in on a Ginsberg class, and I want to meet him if possible. So I went and I sat in on Ginsberg's class. He's teaching poetry. After class, he says to the class, "Does anybody have any questions?" And one kid raises his hand. He's like, "Mr. Ginsberg, I just have a question about and asks him some typical questions."
Course.
Ginsberg could not have been bothered. Like hated the kid, hated the question.
Right. Like yeah.
And I had the book with me, and I'm like,
Oh, now you're terrified.
I'm not even gonna take it out.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what? And I raised my hand. I walked up to him. I was just like, Mr. Ginsberg, I was wondering if you might sign a book for me. He visibly was just like
Curling.
You know what I mean? And I pull out this book, and he lights up. He's like, I haven't seen a copy of this in years. Signs my copy of
Amazing.
Stories and
That's
Poems by
fucking
Harley.
cool.
I get chills thinking about it.
That's so
So
cool.
my dream, and I wrote to Harley about, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago. I said, listen, we don't know each other, but might I someday, when I'm in New York, bring this book with me and you could sign it? Ginsberg signed my copy. He's like, love to, absolutely, hit me up sometime. But I've never followed up with it, but I
You
need
should.
to.
That's
I should.
really
I
cool.
really
Yeah,
should.
that's so cool.
To have a copy signed by both of them.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
So if you're confused about it, the Cro-Mags are an art punk band. Thank you very much.
I mean, you see all those pictures of Harley with like Joe Strummer and
insane.
Blondie and
Dude.
fucking
He's an interesting fella.
Andy
I hope
No
he comes
doubt
on our
on that.
podcast sometime.
I get that.
All right. So thank you for the question, Daniel. Let's
Yes.
get to another one. Yo, mailbag's fun as hell, isn't it?
It's so good, especially when we have someone.
I know.
It's wild card, so I like it.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's
Okay.
rando.
On topic of a Jace/non-core, you teased a possible show revolving around that theme. If you explore, what's your take on noise rock? Examples I'm into: Whores from Atlanta and Bummer from KC, Missouri. Keep it up, Scott. Thank you, Scott.
So people in the drug church sphere of things really love whores. It's
Completely unfamiliar.
No,
It's good at what it is. It's
idea.
noise rock. It is noise rock.
Like, what's noise rock? Like shellac?
Okay, so that could be noise
Or
rock.
like Sonic Youth?
I go, well, I like whatever we consider unsane, I like.
Okay.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? Whatever that is, if that's noisecore, if that's whatever that is.
So it's AMRAP.
I like that.
A lot of AMRAP can be noise.
Yeah.
Alright.
And but horrors is noise rock played, in my view, by former metal kids. So there's a proficiency.
Okay.
But it is people in my world like that, and they also like Is Wrong the band?
Wrong. I love that record.
Yeah?
Holy fuck. Yeah, that record's
Those are the
great.
two records that people.
But didn't we listen to that on one of these episodes?
Wrong? I don't
Maybe
know.
early on.
I
It's
feel
really
like we
good. Relapse
did.
put that record out, and I think it was we might have talked about it for sure.
Because
That
we
record's
talked
really
about
cool.
So we talked about Unsane on here.
We definitely.
And I
did.
feel like
Wrong
that's
record,
why.
I really like that Wrong record, and it came out on Relapse, and it's one of those like Relapse puts out tons of stuff, some of which just totally I
Misses,
don't
yeah.
see it, I miss it totally. But that record for some reason hit my radar, and I checked it, and I was like, holy shit, this record's great.
Wow.
Great name, to be honest.
Wrong.
Wrong.
But that's who Horse is like noise rock played by former metal kids, I think.
So proficiently played.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so we're not super familiar, but like maybe we'll do an exploration. I think you would be great to lead us on a noise rock exploration.
Sure.
And hit
I
your
like
voice.
so much that
Where does
stuff.
Die
Although-
116 fall on that?
Oh,
Boom.
Okay.
Noise rock.
I have a hot take that.
Gavin does.
I don't
Gavin
need.
will
I don't
find you.
need Gavin to break my knees, but my hot take is that they are more in the. They have more quicksand overlap than I think that they realize. It takes them out of being like a noise rock or noise core band. I think that there is.
I don't think it would be. I think they might have been drawing from similar wells. I don't think it was like a.
No, I don't.
But, you know,
I kind of ran.
But like a
Right, no.
post-hardcore meets noise rock. I think that's where Die 116 falls.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
to me, it's more in that kind of heavy alt sort of space than it is.
All right. Seek out Die 116 if you guys haven't heard it. It's really good.
All right, and we have a question here from Jordan. And this is one that's kind of floated in the ether from different people, but Jordan hit us good. What's up, guys? My band Karma is dropping a music video this Friday. This Friday happens to be in mid-November. Sorry, Jordan.
Sorry, Jordan.
There is a Karma music video out there. Go get it. Shameless plug.
KHARMA.
From Chicago. And when we were coming up with ideas for it, we were discussing our favorite hardcore music videos, and I was wondering what videos y'all like the most. Do y'all have any that you straight up hate? Personally, top 5 videos for me, no specific order, would be Rotting Out, No Clue, Funny as Shit and Shot Really Cool, Irate, Vendetta, Undeniably Hard, Madball, Down by Law, classic, Biohazard, Punishment, again, classic, Twitching Tongues, Harry Carey, funniest hardcore video I've seen, honorable mention to Sand, Poser, because it's so ridiculous that I can't help but love it. Also, this is 100% non-core and mostly for PK, but I checked out Charlie Bo's YouTube channel. That shit is mad interesting. Got sucked into a huge hole watching it and watched it for like 3 hours after work today. Charlie Bo 313 has gotten a lot of
Are
love.
you familiar with Charlie Bo?
313?
303.
303.
No,
it's 313.
No, 303.
It's
313 is
313, brother.
Detroit.
303 is the band who sings with Kesha.
Yes. It's 313. Because that's Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Come on, I watch 8 Mile and everybody from
Homie, this is
313.
you're
correct.
repping.
You're correct. You're correct. It's
So it's this gentleman who has like a dash cam of some
It's
sort
literally fascinating.
that just drives around
Cities?
the cities of America. Like random, it's like, and not like, hey, here's me in Beverly Hills. It's like, here's me in Compton at, 11 o'clock at night. Or here's me walking into a bodega in the South Bronx.
Okay.
And just kind of just watching. And like he has like this crazy amount of access that we were trying to like kind of reverse engineer, like figuring out what this man must be.
Everybody I've spoken to acts like I'm not hitting them with anything interesting when I suggest who he is, because they all came to the same conclusion. Apparently, it's axiomatic who this guy is.
We think he's a very large African American male.
Yeah, but
Who's a little older, maybe?
Yeah.
Because they don't really show him.
My guess is retirement age. And clearly working class, because when he
However he presents, and whatever it
He's
is.
getting access to places.
Like there'll be people like going to hop over the counter at a bodega,
Right.
And like they don't think twice that this dude is filming them.
And they look at him
Okay,
like
yeah,
he's just
whereas-
part of the
whereas
scenery.
If I walked in, hi guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, and there's times like he's interviewing, and he does interviews, like street interviews with folks. and I'd be like, oh, like you're like the local sect of like the Crips.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he just has like these conversations about the neighborhood.
And like, if I was to do this, there would be every allegation of some type of like voyeurism and
we have to do it in the farms in fucking Rotterdam.
Yeah, exactly. But for this guy, it doesn't read that way, and I don't see how anybody could take it that way.
How did you stumble upon this?
I don't know. My YouTube suggestions.
He stumbles deep, man.
wide.
You know.
Yeah, but I mean,
as he mentioned earlier, well, I read enough Wikipedia pages, so
that's true.
And
you know that's got to be right because it's it's crowdsourced.
Have you guys gotten into epoxy tables?
No.
Oh
yeah. No, I love them. I love them. Fucking
this
amazing.
is right up your
That's
alley.
great.
I mean, it's
I love
basically
that.
a lot of reclaimed wood, but it doesn't have to be. Like particularly stuff that has deep crevices and like
or breaks.
Character,
Like if we smashed this table in half and had a nice
but you can do such wild shit with epoxy that it looks like
amazing.
Fantastic design.
Epoxy or epoxy?
It's epoxy.
Okay.
It's epoxy.
Epoxy.
It's an A-plum. So
So is it like one of those things like it's
It was
like
Professor A Plum
So this
in
is
the
a type of
cabinet
furniture?
with the epoxy.
A type of
Cabinet.
furniture that Okay.
So it's just people that
style.
It's a style.
is it one of those like satisfying things to watch and that's why people
very
because like
There's an ASMR element and there's a dad element. So
Like
I think
Reddit, Reddit has like a thing that's like satisfying things. It's like just watch like all these straws
great.
fall into the same. It's like oh man, this is great. Like that is it that kind of idea? Like
Big
see what's
dad
crevasse.
Yeah, I think Amelia just felt something across the sea. Like
Okay.
I might.
So come this way for just a second, Tom, and look.
Oh,
at
I've seen those. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't know that's
So to answer our favorite Greg, our favorite hardcore music videos.
Punishment is up there.
Epoxy videos.
Yeah, epoxy table
I
videos.
see the video.
I would go.
All right, punishment.
Punishment's up there. Shades of Grey is up there. I mean, you're working from such a small palette. There's not a ton.
Into
Favorite
another.
hardcore videos of all time?
Judge.
Youth of Today, no more.
Yeah, that's it. For
Done.
Me. That's it for me. I don't need.
Judge?
To be honest, I don't need
Judge.
much more.
Good
Can
video.
I tell you a story?
Yes,
Of course.
I was there that night.
Yeah.
No.
I was there.
Tell
I was
the
at
story.
Anthrax that night. So I went to the
Oh, yeah.
Anthrax to see Youth of Today, and we got there and we heard that they were just going to be filming a video, and we were like, it's too bad. We really want to see him play. So we walk in. It was my friend Al, who ended up singing for the band The Pissed punk
wow.
band.
Yeah.
Right?
Great band.
Yep. So
Some of many people's favorite punk band in the 90s.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Great.
You know who the
Ideas
first
are
drummer?
bulletproof.
You know who the first drummer of the Pissed was?
No.
Greg Bennick. First drummer of the Pissed.
Greg pissed.
So I like that. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
So
A friend of the podcast, Dave Ackerman, who sang in the bands Tear It Up and Dead Nation, who I actually told him he sounds a little bit like you, which
Really?
was a very odd comment, is a Pissed superfan. May have a Pissed tattoo.
oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Interesting. So,
So
small world.
So Al and I go to the Anthrax to see Youth of Today. We're bummed a little bit that they're going to be playing this. They it's packed. It's just bonkers. So we walk in. We kind of stand in the back. Al decides he wants to go up close. I want the full perspective of what's about to happen. And they come out, and the song is playing. If I remember correctly, they weren't playing, but they were playing the song over the loudspeakers.
Yeah,
And they were
that's
just
the way.
behind
they
it.
do.
But I remember from the first dun dun, everyone went completely ape shit.
Yeah.
And Ray was like, hold on. And they stopped. And then they did it again. And everyone went completely ape shit. And Ray's like, hold on.
Yes.
And stopped it maybe 3 or 4 times. And Ray's like, hey, we're filming a video. Like something like, they got to be able to see the band or something like that. And they played it again and not toned it down, but it was just like the dynamic was different.
When the band is telling you don't go as crazy as you're going.
Or just like make sure that we can be seen too. And I mean, it was crazy. But when the video came out, Al watched it frame by frame, and there is a frame of Al getting pushed into the lower left of the corner of the screen, and you see his punk rock hair for like literally a frame or two or something. But yeah, he's in the video for 2 frames.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Better than I've got.
We got to know.
Great video. The beat, yeah.
The Sick of It All video.
Step
Oh
down.
yeah, for sure.
Shout out
That's
Jeff.
incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And
That's
actually,
right. Was Jeff doing the floor punch in that?
No, he does the
lawnmower.
and the pizza.
pizza
Oh, the pizza
It's
maker.
so
That's a great
good.
one.
Tim Shaw's in that.
Yep.
He does like the California style of the New York.
Oh, really?
He's got a
Oh, yeah,
rancid hat
yeah,
on,
yeah,
a rancid shirt and a hat. Yeah, pork pie hat.
Honorable mention to the Civ video.
Can't wait 1 minute
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
You know
It's a
what?
good video.
It's a good video. Yeah.
What's
And
the
see,
quicksand
both-
video?
Well, both of those.
No, Civ
No, I know, but
video.
what's
Phaser.
the phaser?
Yeah.
video?
That's the one that they
Yeah.
filmed at Wetlands when it's all like black and white.
Yeah.
And it's like bright flashing like.
Oh, yeah.
The Civ and Sick of It All, like what I love about both of those is that they capture like the funniness of Sick of It All, the silliness of Sick of It All, and the kind of lighthearted, stylistic silliness of Civ without overdoing it. They just really capture both of those.
Right, because you wouldn't think in 1994, whatever the fuck that was, that Sick of It All would be funny.
Mm-hmm. I think those dudes are naturally funny.
But they never came across as funny.
Not that funny.
Like at that time, they were like, holy fuck.
So they were one of the first shows that I saw, and when I saw them...
And they didn't watch the bands and they were eating Chinese food instead.
Exactly.
It broke your brain, and now you don't watch bands.
But But Lou was genuinely funny on stage.
Always saying goofy stuff.
It made such an impression on me. Yeah. Like I say it all the time. He really
imprinted on me.
It taught me how to be relaxed on a stage. Like
it's awesome.
I mean, at that point, he was probably like 8 years into a career, and he like really came off like a professional. Like he was super at pro. Peace in front of people.
Yeah,
and saying to people like, "Come on, you fucking goofballs," and just casually talking to the audience rather than putting on an air of like. He could have very easily been a tough guy, right? Never really did.
But when he would ask the audience, he would talk to the audience, and when somebody would yell something, he was there wasn't even a missed beat. You know what I mean? He would take whatever it was and work it right in.
He's like Don Rickles.
Yeah.
Don Rickles of art.
And like, no, well, that's Paul Bear. But
certainly.
Yeah,
but there's some.
That was a good video too. The Sheer Terror video when he's like dressed up in the tuxedo and like the tuxedo shirt's open and it's like it's like it's like a lot. I forget what song it is.
Yeah.
Into Another Splinters, which is this video with Richie Birkenhead hanging upside down, covered in thorns.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen it either.
It's fucking ridiculous. I believe he might be painted blue in one of these videos. But
I blew myself.
What in
I've
Jesus'
never seen
name?
that.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
I've seen clips from it.
You've seen that clip before.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what? Also is a good video for going that way. Here we go again. By
Let's see. Here we go.
By Shelter. He's upside down.
Yes.
Yep. There. Just wrapped in a blanket. Chilling. Into Another has a good set. Tail I actually really like. It's that weird.
What's that one?
So just give me all the Into Another videos.
Fair.
And the Quicksand one for good measure.
That's a good, I mean, the Thorn in My Side video
with the girl. Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
How many video? I've had one video which it was actually produced by this man right here, which I haven't seen in about 18 years. Bystanders, your first music video?
I think it is. Trial never did a music video. Between Earth and Sky did a lyric video. That doesn't count. So yeah.
Well, Drug Church
the Bystander videos.
And you have how many?
That I've done.
How many videos have come
of
out
your
for
bands?
Oh, I don't know.
So let's
5 total.
Really? Any for self-defense?
Yeah.
Really?
We did 2 on our last record, or 2 on the most recent record.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, those are great.
Yeah.
Yes, those are very
Thank
good.
you.
Yes, those are very good.
Calzone.
The one at the Calzone. Yep.
They're so low key that people didn't.
No, it's good.
Like you have to love them to love
The
them.
Drug Church video. Pat skipped filming it so we could play Player Unknown Battleground at Mac Miller's house.
That's true. 100%.
Can we ever find a copy of that Most Precious Blood video?
Yes, I'm certain we can.
Is it at your mom's house?
No.
Okay.
Does it exist anywhere on the ether? In the ether.
Maybe in an iCloud somewhere.
Who were like the French dudes who...
Pierre. He's not actually French. He's British, but he just has the name Pierre.
Pierre.
It's like
we, in our head, when they go, like that dude Patrick and his French friends that did the video. So
they have from Bethlehem, New York.
They have retconned them into like 2 dudes with baguettes and fucking... I don't know where. Like Justin's like, the French guy.
I'm thinking guys from Normandy. They're just back there. They have the video on a hard drive somewhere.
He has a very thick British accent.
Well, I just remember we went to Pierre's house.
Yes.
Like it's like Normandy.
In Lyon.
In Williamsburg, in that bank building or whatever, and we watched it on the big thing.
Yeah. Can you imagine what the rent is there now?
Oh, forget it. $5,000.
Holy fuck.
Giant loft.
Oh, that's right.
I remember being like, where the fuck am I right now?
Are you guys familiar with, this is something I've recently was reading about, Jersey? The island.
Like
it's a British island, I think, but it's right off the coast of France, so it's really fucked up. Like, it's like...
So it's like our friend Pierre.
Great Wikipedia page.
Okay.
Look it up everywhere.
Got it.
Okay.
So are there any other
That's where Pierre's from, of course.
Any other good core music videos? What about Master Killer by Marauder?
It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Jorge sitting at a throne while 2 fucking Street Fighter guys are fighting in front of him. It's pretty fucking...
It's like ridiculous. It's like Game of Thrones meets Mortal Kombat 2.
You know
it's
what?
Amazing.
Yes, and I feel like you could show that video to a 17-year-old, and right then they can decide what type of hardcore kid they want to be. Because if you...
That's part of the decision tree, right?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Because if you look at it and you rightly say, this is ludicrous and I don't enjoy it, then, okay, that's one side.
Then you're a
type of
self-defense
kid.
family.
That's one type of kid.
yeah.
If you look at it...
Yeah, you
and
might
go,
have a couple options from there, but you're not this.
If
You're
you
going
go,
this
this
path.
is ridiculous, and
And
I love it.
Yeah.
That was me.
This is ridiculous. Where's my sword?
Yeah.
Did you come to that Marauder show with me?
I did not. I saw you on the street. I saw you in the street. We talked. In fact, I was in New York City, and we weren't as in touch as we are now.
No, and I was in a car with somebody. I go, "Yo, Greg Bannock!" And I yell out the window in the middle of like East Houston Street, and he's like, "Hey!" Like coming from like soccer or something. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Going to see Marauder in the basement of a bar at Fontana's with like Sub-Zero or something."
Yeah.
But
and
for
I'm like,
years, that's all we talked about was
that we were-
Marauder.
yeah.
Marauder. Did I tell you my Marauder story from this summer, though? I did. Okay, so I was at Eperfest doing spoken word at Eperfest this summer, and not Marauder, the other project that
Connie?
No, I don't know. Did Marauder play or something else?
Marauder may have played actually.
I think
Or
Marauder
did Jorge play with?
He's in a band with the
Demise?
dudes from like he's in a band with the dudes from At the Gates called Akani.
No,
What?
it wasn't that.
Is that
It might
true?
have been
I had
Marauder
no
that played.
idea.
It'd be great if Tom just made that up.
Yeah,
No, it's-
Oh, isn't he in
Google
a
that
project
shit.
band
That would
with
be fucking
the...
great.
Google it. It's like Soil Work and
I
At the
can't
Gates
wait
and
till we
Jorge.
do that episode. It's like, yeah, you know, that band John Joseph does with the three dudes from Converge, and then the one guy who flies in from the French band. What's the, you know, like Pierre from Jersey.
So Marauder
I
plays,
always spell
and
it wrong. Hold on.
Marauder, you're spelling it
He's spelling
correctly.
it
and that's
correctly.
wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Correct is
Okay, you
incorrect
see-
when it
you
comes
see
to
them.
yeah.
wrong.
So anyway, so I'm doing
Yeah.
the spoken word thing, and at Fluff Fest, a friend of mine and I had done a workshop session on mental illness and suicide, recognizing signs of suicide in the scene, how to support one another, how to prevent that from happening.
Now you do that on stage, something like this, or is that more like kind of
That was in kind of a workshop in a tent, like
Interesting.
it was really like packed out the door. Like I mean, so many people came for
Yeah.
it, which was really cool. But she wasn't unable to do it, so I repeated it at Eperfest. And as I'm talking at Eperfest about mental illness and supporting one another and ways to recognize signs of suicide, that sort of thing, Jorge's in the audience. I see him he's just standing in the back and he's just kind of like checking out what's happening. And I thought of you immediately. I'm like, this is so bizarre.
That makes me so happy.
So later on, because I'm thinking to myself, like I don't know much about his history, but I'm like, it could very well be possible that he's killed more people than I'm trying to save.
A nice balance. The yin
So
and yang.
I doubt it, right? But but anyway, no. I mean, he's a super nice guy. But the point is that later on at night, he saw me and he's saying, great talk earlier today. He's like, come here, man, let's hug it out or something like that, and like gives me a hug. I'm like, this is the sweetest guy in the world.
He's a sweet murderer. He's not a murderer. Let me take that back.
Yeah.
But he's like a bad dude. He's a fucking fighter. But he's so sweet.
So I mean, let's recognize the fact that when we think of Marauder, we don't think of like springtime and rainbows. And
No.
we think about people
Hugging
fighting
it out.
and killing each other.
Right.
Yeah, right. But I certainly don't think of
Come here, let me give you a hug.
Well, the two things that I think about now: my friendship with you
Yeah.
and hugging Jorge in Belgium.
That's pretty amazing.
So,
That's all I could really ever ask for.
Yes, it's bizarre that I didn't know that Akani is his
told you.
current. Yeah,
With who?
well, I don't know.
Members of At the Gates and stuff like that. He was the first. He's on the cover of Blood, Sweat, No Tears.
What?
Jorge.
Yeah.
Skinhead on there. He was the first person
Walter.
to bring Walter's on there too.
I didn't know that.
He's the first. He met Sepultura when they got off the plane, and he brought Sepultura around New York. He almost
Like the first time they
Yes.
came or something. Yeah.
He was going to sing for Sepultura after Max left,
Wow.
which would have been fucking awesome. But there you go. You're welcome.
Thank you for opening my eyes.
So music videos, there's a lot of great ones. What's the Fury of 5 one?
Take it. No.
Take
4
respect.
years been pushed. No.
4 years.
No. They redid that.
Respect
the
is
new version.
Yeah, the new version is hilarious.
And when they're in the boxing ring.
It's
and
one of the.
that
Yep.
It's an enjoyable listen.
No, what's the fucking
View.
Do or Die? Do or Die is the one when he's doing the fucking windmill in the performance.
Yes,
suites.
it is.
I prefer the other one.
I would love to, like, it's funny because I went back and watched it relatively recently after having lived in Asbury Park.
Yeah.
I go, oh shit. Like, that's what that was Asbury Park. We used to go to shows down there, but I didn't have the same kind of idea.
Right.
Yeah.
But like watching it now, like, oh shit, that burned out building is now like the Asbury, and it's a fucking 400 a night, $400 a night, a hotel room.
Right.
Like,
I can orient
Yeah.
myself by this rubble. I know
yeah,
what
that's serious.
this is.
It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
All right, so there's a lot of good hardcore music videos. Let's do a YouTube video where we watch a bunch.
And then, yeah, because someone had brought up a good idea, and we'll do this at a later episode. Best live YouTube videos of hardcore bands.
That's a good one.
Which is good.
Create that. All right.
Mine is Killing Time from CBGB's Nobody Steal My Shit.
Trevor asks,
Hey, Trevor.
Hey guys, what do you guys think about the Jesus Lizard? I saw them a couple of months ago, and after thinking about it for a while, it was one of the best shows I've ever been to. Also, they're labeled a post-hardcore band, but what does that really mean? Quicksand, Fugazi, and the Jesus Lizard don't sound similar at all. Is Title Fight a post-hardcore band? Post-hardcore deep dive episode would be great. We'll do that at some point.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question. Jesus Lizard. Good. Haven't listened to them in a while. They go post-rock. Post-rock hardcore.
I saw them open Faith No More a couple times. I don't care.
Really? I saw them on the tour that he's talking about most likely, and it was a highlight of my year. I thought it was fantastic.
Sell me on them.
Okay, it's you could also call it noise rock, but you could also just call it post-hardcore in the broadest sense.
I mean, what's the hardcore part?
I mean,
Was David Yao in a hardcore band?
these are hard fucking songs. Like,
Are they?
Yeah, but
I saw them about 23 years ago, and I couldn't.
Well, it depends. Where do you place Helmet? What's Helmet?
I'd call them a post-hardcore rock band. Really.
I think, honestly, like a little bit of AMRAP. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I think.
For sure, right?
To Helmet.
I think a little Jesus Lizard.
Because Drop It On
Jesus
was...
Lizard is just straight up AMRAP. Like, they probably own that sound better
I
than
think that's
anybody.
right. You know what I mean?
What kind of vocals?
They're wild. No,
That's what I picture it as. And I know he pulls his penis out a lot.
He does.
I was just gonna. Oh my god! Okay,
Like when I think of Jesus Lizard, I think of his lizard.
so back, in these Anthrax years when I was going to a million shows, I would just watch bands and then later on realize who I saw.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So when you guys are talking about Jesus, I'm like, and I said I'm totally unfulfiliar. I was about to ask, did they ever get naked? Because I remember seeing his penis.
Yeah.
and that's it. So I
You
saw
saw David
them.
Yao's
Okay,
penis.
great.
Yeah.
So if you would say that Helmet has a somewhat exacting sound,
Yes.
for sure.
The Jesus Lizard is more lurching than that.
And not as like clean.
Yeah, no, not as clean. But
Because Helmet's pretty clean.
That's as clean as it gets.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
No, not as clean. It's so the argument against the Jesus Lizard is that it is not emotionally available music. So like what I mean by that is like what I always say about Fugazi, which is like you can appreciate Fugazi, you can really enjoy Fugazi,
But
Fugazi,
you're not connecting to
Fugazi doesn't let you in. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't. And Jesus Lizard, same thing, but it is as kinetic and confrontational as that type of music gets. Yeah. So like,
give me a record. What's the record I need to check out?
Oh, I don't know. What's the one that Goat is?
Don't ask me.
They're all four letters.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I think Goat is the one that I would probably recommend.
Now, did he do a band after this?
Goat.
He did.
Liar. I think Down is a good record.
I'm saying
311 song.
I'm saying Goat's probably the record.
Prior they were in the band Scratch Acid.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And that's some noise rock.
Right. Yeah. Goat's the record.
Goat's the record.
Right. You have 100% a million trillion times in your life heard the first track on this record.
Yeah.
Here Comes Dudley. You've heard it a trillion times. It's a very distinct part.
I'll give it a shot.
We'll play it after.
Maybe I'll like it more in my old age. Who knows?
But
they're one of those bands, honestly.
And them
and
Steel
Marauder.
Pole Bathtub are fucking up my fucking...
Right. Well,
I'm like trying to see them and...
Steel Pole Bathtub.
Honestly, like live, this is my favorite band to watch videos. Like these would be my favorite live videos on YouTube by far. There's one that I have bookmarked in my YouTube that I watch for inspiration because it is so exactly what I want.
Like when you go get undressed for the shower.
Yeah, it is so much what I want to be. His body was fucking tight in the day, but
was he like a Iggy Pop kind of deal?
More built than that. He looked like he did farm labor. Like he just
like Iggy Pop frame, but no, I throw
like
bales of haze around.
Right, but in the same way that Iggy is seemingly naturally, that's his body.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
David Yao's body was naturally that, but could really beat you up. You know what I mean? Like so. But
got it.
But as far when I saw them, I guess last year. I thought it was last year. I think end of last year. The band looks exactly the same as they did from videos in 1996, but but they're more gray, but they look exactly the same. Handsome guys that wear just black shirts and black pants.
The show was this year, by the way.
Oh,
because they played the same night as Back to School Jam in Philly.
2018.
Oh.
And because my buddy Lou was trying to do both, which he didn't end up working out, so you probably saw me.
David Yao, on the other hand,
Right.
looks 125. So everybody in the band looks exactly as they did.
Same members for a while?
Oh, yeah. It looks exactly, I think maybe 2 changes. But
And he was just out of his fucking mind, right? Crazy hair, right?
He's a designer, so far as I know. He does like professional, maybe book design or magazine design, whatever. He works in design.
Oh, wow.
So he has one of my favorite quotes I've ever seen about punk and hardcore and shit like that, where they asked him, why did the Jesus Lizard break up? He goes, I was turning 40 and I had a mohawk. You know what I mean? He's like,
Fair. All right.
He's like, it was time. But go on.
All right, another question. Flint asks, and actually we're not going to dig too deep because we talked about this at length with John on the last episode. I'm a big fan of that era. He was going on something else. Every band you're talking about here, and I want to pose you dudes a question. Do you think Shai Hulud has been relegated to the same collective historical shrug territory as Ensign? I think that argument can be made, but I find it confusing concerning their pedigree, for lack of a better term, and the areas where they were most active during their heyday. And then I'm going to read this other little part, but let's answer that. We talked about Shai Hulud.
Well, I don't know about the Shai Hulud conversation, but I heard about the Ensign conversation, right?
Yeah.
You fill me in on that.
Yeah.
I think Shai Hulud somehow permeated like metal kids and hardcore kids, and as a result, since they reach this wider cross section of people, have a little more lasting power. And I say that with love to Ensign, who back in the day we were playing shows and whatnot, and Tim is a friend.
We all played TBGBs together.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. How about that?
Yeah, well, there you go.
Remember when I said we talked about...
You were at the CB...
We played
That's
together.
right, we played, and I fell off the stage at
On
CBGBs.
Mother's Day. Remember I was like, Mother's Day, everyone loves their mom, nobody likes their dads.
Right. Yeah.
Because Father's Day, there was like 700 people, and then Mother's Day, we played in front of like 150.
Yeah.
That was the show.
And I fell off the stage.
Yes.
I tripped awkwardly and fell off the stage at CBGB's.
And it's a rite of passage.
But yeah, Ensign just never, like, there's just been this gap in
was
history
stop,
that
and
just
I think,
fell into it. Yeah, so.
Okay, 2 points because I want to get to what he said. Our friend Dave did his Christmas card he sent out was him and his girlfriend both in crust clothing because they both are kind of crusty punk.
Sure.
And it said Merry Crustmas, and I said, oh fuck, every year on Christmas there should be a big crust fest, and she'd be like, let's cull the weak from the real.
Yeah.
Us Rotten, Tragedy, fucking every good punk band. Here it is. Crustmas. Are you really punk or not?
Right.
Yeah.
How much
Do
you like
have-
your family?
You've got a family? Fuck.
Poser.
No, never coming back to Crustmas. All right. Flint also let me plug my new band. We're called Life Force. We have a demo out on a small one-man label called Wide-Eyed Noise. We're on a comp coming out on another small DIY one-man
Love a
label.
comp. Good for you.
Called Dog Years Records.
Oh, cool.
And are shopping for a label to release our 7-inch. Lifeforcehc.bandcamp.com. Thank you, Flint. And let's talk about this comp
Yes, I
that
wanna
Dog
get
Years
back to
has
that.
coming up.
Yes.
Let me move this. Man, I am so happy we're clearing stuff out of this mailbox.
I feel like, do you think Shai Hulud being so widespread almost diluted their
Yes.
their
I would think so,
staying
yeah.
power?
I
Like,
think so.
A trillion
those kids went
casual
on to
fans
other
don't
things.
Don't equal rabid fans.
Right.
Right, you'd rather have 200 like diehards than 1,000.
I mean, it depends. Having 1,000 when you're up is probably fun as fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, dude,
I
they
agree
were
with you.
headlining festival kind
Yeah.
of hard.
Sure.
Big.
I mean, they were really, really big.
and I think they weren't just casual fans. You know, I think they did
people were
have some.
obsessed, and I think they still are. But like, you know, like the all the hardcore Jace bands that we used to always talk about, Stick to Your Guns and all those
Yeah.
types of bands, or Shai Hulud acolytes,
Correct.
100%.
Yeah,
for sure.
But
100%.
But what I'm saying is that those type of fans, when I call them casual, that maybe I misspoke. They're casual towards the type of music that we talk about on this podcast. But they're rabid towards Shai Hulud. So what that equals is a fan that is not in the conversation. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not
Right, so they move on to the next.
Well, they're not big upping you in a circle that like is going to expand. They come out to your show when they
Sure,
hear
that
about
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah,
you
that
know
makes
what I mean?
sense.
So, and as far as I just want to say, has anybody seen the film Life Force recently?
No.
It's about naked space vampires. It's from like 1986.
Fantastic.
Wow.
I wonder
Is
if
on
it came
Amazon
from that.
Prime?
It almost certainly, yeah.
I feel like that's the only
Almost
one.
certainly.
Got it.
All right, so about that comp.
Yes.
Our friend of the podcast, Travis Schaefer, wrote us, I wanted to share something really cool with you. It's a compilation that my good friend Chris Mollett of Dog Years Records / Youth Energy Design put together. It features 20
Name.
Youth Energy Design. I like that, right? It features Bad Initials, Yed,
Yeah.
but otherwise everything's good.
I think of like the Bad Brains cover, like the youth are getting like
Youth
that.
Are Getting Restless, yeah.
like that
I like that.
color and
Yeah,
just
it's a good cover.
Youth Energy. It features 20 tracks of some of the hottest hardcore you may or may not know about. I wanted to bring this directly to your attention because 100% of the proceeds of the physical, cassettes out of 100, and digital sales will go to RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, largest nonprofit in the U.S. that supports sexual assault and abuse, founded by Tori Amos.
1-800-656-HOPE. I
There you
think.
go.
I'm not sure.
I didn't realize that was
For some
Tori
reason,
Amos.
that's in my head from years ago.
The reason I ask if you could mention it is because RAIN is a very important nonprofit that a lot of people in our scene can get behind. As someone that has been a victim and has many friends, loved ones that have been affected by sexual abuse, I feel it is very crucial to support organizations like RAIN, especially with some of the heinous things we've been hearing in not only hardcore, but Hollywood and beyond. Much love and respect to y'all. Link to stream, purchase, and get more info is below. So we'll post this. You go to dogyearsrecords.bandcamp.com. You'll find it there. It's Underdogs Volume 2. You can also go to the website rain.org, RAINN.org. List of bands involved.
1-800-656-HOPE is
You
the
got
phone
it.
number.
Good job.
You know what's also kind of cool? I mean, not to
No?
one of the bands on there covers Tear It Up.
Oh, really? All right, there we go. So the bands he has listed, and we'll mention all of them because this is a really cool cause.
Yeah.
Time and Pressure.
Yep.
Spirits. Life Force, as Flint noted. Red Bait. Dying for It. Lift. Berthold City. Burdened. Capital Offense. Rejection Pack. Boise, Idaho. Shout out. Low End. Treason. Clueless. Terminal Nation. Raw Brigade. Shout out. Better Days. Shout out. St. Louis.
Yeah.
True Self. Brute Force, who I actually like quite a bit, Brute Force. Give Way. And Homesick. So Travis, thank you so much. He's in Time and Pressure, Better Days, and St. Louis Hardcore. Really cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Dog Years, for doing that. That's cool shit.
Great.
Really, really cool. And we're going to tweet that out now, and we'll tweet it again when this episode launches because that's a cool cause. And, you know, we talk about compilations in a cool way as a way to spread music and share things and discover things. It's also a really cool thing to make it for a cause.
yeah.
So go out and support
Absolutely.
this. It's a really cool thing.
So, Self Defense recently did a benefit EP, right? And like,
Yes.
that's easy enough for us because we can, like, you know, it's a bunch of people with recording equipment and engineers and shit. It's easy for us to do that.
Access that. Right.
But to put together a comp is not easy. so like, shout out to that person because like that's effort plus. You know what I mean? Like that's cool.
yeah.
All right. So very cool. Let's lighten the room. Taylor Sullivan. Hey, I'm Taylor Sullivan.
Hey, Taylor.
Hey, Taylor Sullivan.
I love the podcast. I'm an
We
AC.
love you.
I'm an AC mechanic in Louisiana, and I
Damn.
listen to y'all on the drive to work.
Stay
We
busy.
love you.
Stay busy. Louisiana gets real hot.
We also acknowledge how many people who work hard ass jobs listen to our podcast. We have a lot of respect for y'all.
Please email Pat and let him know how it feels.
I just wanted to know what are y'all's thoughts and opinions on these 5 bands with X's in their names.
Yeah, please.
So we'll do them one at a time.
Yeah, I like this game.
Monster X.
Local heroes? Question mark.
Fun.
Yeah.
They sold a lot more 7-inches than they probably deserved
Oh,
to.
fuck yeah.
That thing was everywhere.
I mean, they're probably terrible. If I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
at the time I was like, "This is cool."
No, it's
Everyone thought it was cool. It was not
It's
cool.
probably not good.
It's not.
But in 1996, when they were like a straight edge like grindcore band, or whatever,
Yeah.
I think this is cool enough.
yeah,
different.
Yeah.
And they were playing that type of music, but also loved like youth of today and loved,
Of course.
you know what I mean. So
Did a bunch of cover songs
Yeah.
that maybe exposed people.
Singer, bald,
Yep.
long Amish beard.
Johnster X.
Johnster X.
Yep.
So I'm
John
going to go and
Sturax.
say that it, like
Great
in
name.
the same way that Asuk was, you know, a
Infest.
specific type of
Yeah.
band, but you knew somehow they were connected
Yeah.
to hardcore and straight edge, and
Yeah.
that was the same thing for me with
Okay.
We also played with Asuk and Trial.
We
So-
did.
In
We
Decision
did
at Deja
do it,
One.
yeah.
So,
That's right.
so Johnster
Sorry.
X ran Hater of God Records.
Oh, yeah. Good label.
At Troy,
I wrote letters to him, I believe.
P.O. Box 666, Troy, New York.
How cool is
How
that?
do you? I mean, you have to ask for that particularly.
100%.
That's pretty
I don't
amazing.
think he was shy.
Oh, there was a weird Hater of God New Jersey connection. He put out some records for some bands from New Brunswick. All right. XAFBX.
Armed for Battle.
Okay.
They're pretty. I think they're pretty hardline, if I remember
Okay.
correctly. I feel like they're like Reno
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
I don't know much about them. I just know the name.
Okay.
Sorry.
X Death Star X.
Also of the same ilk, I believe. I feel like they're like 7th generation.
Yeah.
X Tyrant X.
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan.
Scary singer is jacked and has like face tattoos.
They've got an album, not a song. I'm pretty sure an album about serving in
Tread lightly.
Iraq. No,
Yes.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah, and like, so here's the thing. Did I tell the story on this podcast where on this drug church tour? Yeah, I think I did. Where a dude was like, "I killed a lot of people." You know what I mean? Like,
No, you didn't tell the story.
Okay.
Wow.
So, shout out if he's listening.
Sarge.
He has a job in the military where he is inadvertently probably responsible. However you would phrase that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Indirectly. No.
Indirectly responsible or indirectly participatory in.
Indirectly participating.
He's standing next to things that kill a lot of people at the time that they go off, right? So that comes up somehow, and I know him a little bit, and he is a soft-spoken, measured, considerate person, right? And he just says, "Yeah." He's like, I think I've probably, in manner of speaking, I kill a lot of people, and I look at him and he's like, "Well, global politics are very complex." And I was like, "We don't got to do all that, man." I was like, "You feel good about killing a bunch of people?" He's like, "No, I feel terrible." I was like, "That's all I ask of you." You know,
Wait, what was it you said to the guy who said he didn't want to be working at the truck stop? It is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's what you dropped on this dude.
I mean, also, like, look, for our listeners that are on some serious punk jacket stuff.
Who killed Spiky Jacket?
Who did kill Spiky Jacket?
I was gonna say that.
You need to understand, if you're young,
Hive mind.
that people's lives are going to take them in a lot of different directions, and you are not always going to agree. And that somebody that is currently chilling in your safe space is going to be a sheriff in Reno, and
sometimes you have to shoot a man in Reno
just to watch him die.
Yeah,
sometimes it's a sheriff,
And sometimes you're on Reno 911.
Yeah,
with short
very
shorts.
entertaining show. And then you end up singing for
Pig Destroyer.
So
All
it all
comes
comes
around.
together. So at any rate, what I'm saying is, I guess because I present in a way that it's okay to talk to me about what's going on, people tell me things about their lives.
Yep.
And so I had a conversation with a cop on this tour, had a conversation with an army guy, and life is ugly and weird.
Who realized that you were like the Godsmack of punk, and you bring out like the
No, I mean,
You're just saying that because of his hair right now.
I don't know
honestly-
what is happening with your hair right
honestly, did I tell you about the most interesting conversation that I had on that tour where a guy he's talking to me for a long time, and he just looks around. There's kind of like
now. Is drug charge or is this
drug charge. He
Okay.
looks to the left, he looks to the right, and he's like, I don't relate to these people. And I was like, yeah, me neither, man. And he's like, no, politically I'm in a different space. And like this is
Here we go.
This is his way of telling me
Oh,
that
this
he's
was a
like,
Worst Possible Timeline podcast fan.
yeah, no, well, he's just a Midwest Trump supporter. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
fuck.
and this is who he is, and he feels a little uncomfortable because that's not the fucking space that he's in. And like, for our listeners that don't want to hear this, you can close your ears. I just said, and this is my honest opinion, I don't live in your life, man. I don't care what you think or what it's like, and that's not popular right now. People want me to like pull his fucking shirt over his head and punch him in the face a lot.
Hockey fight.
But I was just like,
Even if you just pantsed them.
yeah, but I was just
Yeah,
like,
really.
But that's the thing is like,
No,
I don't feel
no,
an obligation
no.
to get that deep with anybody. Like if he wanted to go tit for tat on the actual
Conversation
policy,
piece, that
we
would
could
be
talk
interesting,
about
yeah.
it. But like, if you just present yourself to me as like, hey, I'm at odds with everybody in this room. I think a different thing. Like, yo, I don't agree with the thing you think. But I feel that way in most rooms I'm in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you can really. Here's my thought. Did he extrapolate any further on himself? Because I'm wondering what brought him to your room.
Yeah.
He actually just loves the music. Like,
Okay.
he literally just loves me. He understands that we don't got a thing in common on a lot of levels, but he just fucking loves. And
Well, I
but
guess
don't you
that's the
think-
beauty of some of it, and it's the horror of some of it too.
see, but to me, like, look, for anybody listening, I don't need a fucking bunch of Trump fans. Don't think I'm your safe space. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But like, I am the sort of dude that has made it clear that like I'm not your fucking jury. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's like you got to live with yourself. That's not me. I'm not like unless you invade my space in an ugly way, we're not going to get any more serious than any of this. But like I find it. I had a fascinating conversation in Richmond. Just somebody that didn't know what language they could use with me because they don't know my political affiliations, and they weren't like a Trump supporter. Quite the opposite. But they, keeping up with language.
You tell me you spoke American?
Isn't easy for every. Yeah, I speak American.
Yeah.
What's up, fella? But no, but like,
what's up, howdy?
But I just said to her, I said, look, I'm gonna level with you. You don't need to be delicate with anything you're saying to me, because the worst that you're gonna get out of me is strong disagreement. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get like. I'm not gonna call your job and be like this asshole.
Fired, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, so I mean, it's interesting because the whole when you say a Trump supporter, it's like, man, what the?
There's
fuck
a lot
is
to
it?
that. Now. It's not like I'm a Republican.
Definitely.
Right, and it's
more to it.
And I am kind of in this boat of I want people of different ideas to be available in the spaces I'm in. I don't want a bunch of people I agree with. I want it. And now there is a line. I don't want to be at a white power rally necessarily, just for the conversation.
I want to get some of these people over to my side. No.
I'm not that interested. I'm not interested in hate ideas, and that might be the interesting part, because I guess that would be my question for somebody who self-identifies as a Trump supporter in 2000.
Now, he didn't use that language. That's just what
that's what you're. It's an implement.
That's what I pulled.
Right, which is fine, and that's kind of. I have friends who find themselves in spaces where they're like, I don't politically agree with my friend group even, and I'm like, I'm glad with that. Exactly.
I feel like that's different from being like, I'm a Trump supporter.
Exactly.
Like,
that's the part.
Because there's people that are on our side of the fence. They go, I don't always necessarily agree with this.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Which I love. That's what I want. I want you to question
saying you're a
garbage.
Trump supporter in 2019.
It's
part and parcel.
Heavy luggage right now.
You're a fucking racist.
Yeah,
you hate gay people. You hate.
That's like a step beyond wearing. That's like a step beyond having a fucking stars and bars on your truck.
That's what I mean. Like, there's more to it than just being like, I'm Republican and George Bush makes me feel safe. This is like so far beyond that like, if you're identifying as that, there's more to it than just.
I'm part of the third of the country who supports racism, right?
Yeah,
that's what they're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
If there's anyone who hears the sound of our voices, who pictures themselves as a Trump supporter, but you maybe think that the things we're saying aren't fair, hit us up, email us, because I would like a dialogue with someone who identifies as a Trump supporter, but also does not identify as a racist or a sexist or a homophobe.
And how do you parse that out?
But
yes,
okay, so
correct.
that's
the part.
That's
what I'm asking.
Pick and choose.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I want them to parse it out for me. Mm-hmm. So if you do that, blow up the email inbox, axegrindpodcast@gmail.com.
We will not dox you.
No,
we'll have a fucking conversation.
I just. I think that, exactly like you said, the person that identifies as a Trump supporter, it's rare that person, in my view, would also identify as a racist. They would couch that in something that makes sense to them, that removes them from the idea.
But you can't be like, I'm a Trump supporter because I like less tax, whatever the fuck bullshit you can, economic thing that you can throw out there. Now, but like, dude, that's the least of the stuff that he's doing for you.
That's the typical Republican argument. Fiscal conservatism.
Right, exactly. That's not what it is anymore.
Yeah, barf bag. All right, last of the X bands, because this is a funny exercise. Vitamin X, Thrashcore.
I never liked this at all.
Straight on Southern Lord in 2018.
Yeah.
They just played the Kingsland with Perfect World.
Interesting. I returned our email. My name was lowercase x Bob X. Yours was capital X space Tom caps space X.
Capital X, the second one?
Yeah, both caps. And then yours was Patrick capital X V capital X.
Okay.
I like it.
Shout outs to Steve X. If you all know, you know. Oh, a fella who still signs his emails X Steve X.
I respect it.
Yeah,
super respect.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he still does, but that's cool as shit.
I know the last. I saw. If we're talking about Steve Reddy signing his checks with X Steve X, he does.
How cool is that?
Does he?
Yeah,
that's fucking cool.
Yeah, you're a fucking legend, Steve. You should come on soon. Everybody,
hello everyone at merch.
Yeah, EVR merch now. Play this for Steve. Tell him to come on. He's got an invite. All right, Andre Pickens, who I've confused with maybe Andre Tippett, the Oilers receiver,
Slim Pickens.
Slim Pickens, or there was a Carl Pickens was a Bengals receiver.
I feel like Andre Tippett, wasn't he?
He was also on the Patriots.
I want to say he was like a defensive end, though, wasn't he?
Andre Tippett was the defensive end on the Patriots.
Correct.
I am thinking of Carl Pickens. Well, there's Andre Rison. There's a lot of 80s and 90s football players. All right. Hey, guys.
Left eye burned his house down. Sorry. Yes.
And left eye. Hey, guys.
Yes.
I know you're singers. Me. But I need your experience here. Guitar work is one of the biggest parts of hardcore for me. I like all the different sounds a guitar can make, including some of the more technical sounds. Sweep picking, tapping, shredding, any weird stuff, etc. He likes that freaky guitar. I know, I love it. Nothing wrong with it.
Sweeping, arpeggios.
No, hardcore has a deep down hatred of this stuff, and I'm wondering where it came from. I'm not trying to shove sweep picking into power trip songs, but I know some guitarists that are very capable of that kind of stuff and can write it tastefully, but it seems like they're afraid of backlash. I've even heard Knocked Loose catch flack over just using 7-string guitars, and they aren't doing anything technical. Is simpler always better? Who decided that technicality wasn't allowed? I believe I responded to that, or maybe I didn't.
I actually love this question because
great
it
question.
seemed very honest-hearted. You
Yes,
know what
definitely.
I mean?
I feel like early punks couldn't do
Andre,
it.
thank you. Definitely.
I think that's where it was.
I mean, but then you look at the Bad Brains, you know.
But you have to almost take the Bad Brains
Exception
out of any
to the rule.
hardcore conversation because they're so above and beyond anything we've ever
else,
done.
ever.
But I think like punk rock is supposed to be like you're not supposed to bring attention to yourself. You're doing your own fucking thing, and it's like if you're Steve Vai, then you're obviously trying to gain that fucking.
It's also proficiency.
Ego,
proficiency is frowned on. Virtuosity is frowned on just because it's a.
But then everyone's favorite band is the most virtuoso,
Yes.
virtuoso.
Virtuosus.
I don't know if that's
Virtuosus.
virtuous. No, but that means they're good people.
Virtuosus.
Full of whatever. Really good
virtuosity.
Yes.
viscosity and oil breakdown.
Yes. I mean, but the reason I think that that's the case is because the mythos is that you're supposed to have gotten together and played in a basement and not been
with
very
your friends.
good. And, you get your friend. That's the mythos is that you get a friend
You
that
started
hasn't
playing
played,
guitar when you started the band.
Right.
Exactly. And like, that excludes a lot of people who are just very gifted fucking musicians that like maybe they did pick up a guitar for the first time when they started their band and then within 3 years they're exceptional because they're gifted.
I still think drummers are the most important part of hardcore.
Yeah, a lot of people would agree with you.
If you have a bad drummer, you're fucked.
But I think that's
if you've got a great drummer, you're set.
Yeah, you could be an adequate guitar player as long as you have Mackie behind you. You're good.
Do you know when I knew that question was open-hearted and coming from a good place was when my bigotry against 7-string guitars is so ingrained and extreme that when the person that asked this question said, I've seen Knocked Loose receive flack for 7-string guitars. In my head, I said, "Fucking A, right." But there's no good reason to feel that way except my association.
We love you, Isaac.
Yeah, my association is with like very bad music.
Okay,
right?
so I'm gonna.
But it gives you a lower end. You get heavier.
So you wanted the real answer again? I'm gonna come in here and sweep up because you guys are lying ass liars.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'm gonna break the line for you guys because I'm not in the hardcore singer union. Because hardcore singers just want that attention. They're like, "Yo, that dude's too good at guitar. He can't be doing that shit." I need the attention.
I buy that. Look at
No, it's not
AJ
true.
Novello and Eddie Sutton.
It's not true. I'm fucking around. No, it's just it's changed over time. I think good guitar playing is more accepted now. But then there's people who claim to be very good at guitar who are like, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just a better guitar player than Dr. No. I don't think the Bad Brains have good songs or good riffs.
Remember
when you see that,
I remember reading that on the internet.
And when you see that, and you're like, well, no, you are a very good guitar player, but you're now disqualifying the Bad Brains songs,
which is craziness.
I like bold statements. I'm not.
But
that's not one I'd ever make. But
exactly.
I like a bold statement.
Many other very good guitar players looked at that and said,
"The fuck?"
What?
But I think in punk and hardcore, you're not supposed to aspire to be something greater than
you're supposed to break up after 3 years,
right? So you're not supposed to be the guy that can shred as well.
Yeah.
No, let's keep shredding. Keep shredding, kids.
Or Justin from Dead Heat, dude's a shredder.
Yeah.
He's a hardcore
Yeah,
kid,
he is.
but he's a fucking shredder.
But then he gravitated towards crossover, which only makes sense. Like it's
the young Taylor.
It's interesting that this person's correct. If you are playing straightforward hardcore, there's very little space for like they just don't allow you to expand like that. You have to go into metal leaning things before you're allowed.
Right, a minute and a half song. We don't have time for your fucking wanker.
But I would love personally to see like say like Minor Threat style fucking whatever, like but through a modern lens of a real wizard. You know what I mean? Like I'd be interested.
You might
like
lose some
Death
of
by
its
Stereo?
charm.
I'd be interested. No, because
they were punk and fucking shredders.
Okay, but my attitude on Death by Stereo is that
there's too much going on.
There's too much going on. I'm talking about somebody
it's Dillinger and punk.
Yeah,
it's all of it.
Exactly.
By the way, do you guys know the Death by Stereo guys at all?
No.
The one guy
I know Paul Miner.
The one guy's at the program, right?
Yeah, Ephraim and one other dude.
Yeah. No, but Dan Palmer, one of the guitar players, bald guy, he has like the curly mustache. He's in Billy Biohazard's band.
Oh, shit.
He's a guitar player in Billy Biohazard. We walked in to see Life Wagon. I was like, holy fuck.
I mean, they're good at what they
those dudes are very proficient. All of those guys are incredibly proficient at their...
But shout out to the dude at program who does a good thing.
Yeah, he does. Really cool.
Great dude.
Shout out to that. All right. I don't know how much longer we'll do. We've got a couple more questions here. This one's from mid-October, so...
Christ.
Joel.
Hey, Joel.
On a recent episode, Bob talked about how the one Boston record has some hot tracks.
Is that
Boston self-titled. Yeah, several other songs on that. Smoking, a couple good songs.
Incredible.
That took me on a trip to when I was probably 7 years old and raided my dad's CD collection and fell on that record because it has a spaceship on the cover. Yeah. Good reason.
Good reason, yeah.
Was wondering if you guys had any records that you used to listen to that your parents owned that you still love. My favorites that my dad had besides Led Zeppelin or besides Boston were Led Zeppelin 1. Yeah, good. Neil Young Harvest. Yeah, good. This is where our ages seem crazy. Green Day, Dookie, Nirvana, Nevermind, The Wallflowers, Bringing Down the Horse,
oh my God,
and Stevie Ray Vaughan, Greatest Hits.
And here I am about to say Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic, and The Who, Who's Next.
Yeah. My father was big on Jimi Hendrix. I loved that shit.
My father didn't even get that.
Yeah, I like. I'm trying to think of others. He liked Stevie Ray Vaughan a lot, but I never really dwelled into that kind of stuff. What else did he really like? He liked a lot of funk.
Girl.
No, yeah, right. I know. Big into the late '90s pop explosion. No, he really liked Grand Funk.
My dad liked Hootie
Grand
and the
Funk.
Blowfish.
All right.
Oh, shit.
He's like, why don't you do a band like that instead? You could sing.
Honestly, you should have taken under advisement.
I probably should have. Yeah.
It's not too late. I think Darius Rucker, could use a couple backup.
Wow.
I know. Probably for the anniversary of fucking whatever.
It's probably 25 years or something.
Yeah,
it is 25 years.
93. There you go. It is Joel. Thank you for the question. We'll go around. It blew my mind, and I forgot that it was in there because I was like, oh yeah, Led Zeppelin, Neil Young Harvest. I love Neil Young. Then I saw Green Day, Duke, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like 12 when I bought that, and I am the youngest person in this room.
Wow.
What, are we talking about Green Day? Because I can talk about Green Day.
No, we can talk about records that your parents liked or old records that you love that you maybe were exposed to from a parent or older person in your family or life.
I mean, it was Aerosmith. It was Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic.
Your parents
Great
liked
record.
Aerosmith.
Yeah, they had an Aerosmith record.
Great. Your
How
parents
old are
were
your
probably
parents, if you don't mind me asking?
How old are they now?
Yeah.
Late 70s. Late 70s.
Oh, wow. My mom's older than that. My dad's would have been older than that.
Yeah.
They, my father liked, like, fucking...
Sinatra.
Well, not even. He loved Elvis.
Okay.
And he loved old, country, like Merle Haggard.
Oh, yeah.
My sisters were older. My next oldest sister is 11 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
So she got me into, like, fucking Springsteen and fucking Judas Priest and shit.
That's rad.
That, like, she saw the Ramones at Brooklyn College.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's literally an 11-year age gap. Same parents and everything between me and my next oldest sister.
I like that. I appreciate
It's
that.
fucking wild. But, like, my mom, like, I couldn't tell you. Like, she listens to, like, Jimmy Durante and shit.
My mom really likes James Taylor. Had me buy her James Taylor.
I've seen Rain.
Great song. Had me buy her James Taylor CDs. I bought her James Taylor Carole King live at the Troubadour in LA CD. I thought that was a cool CD to buy. First CDs I've bought in over a decade. So, how about you?
Tapestry's a great record.
Parents didn't listen to music. My father, a little Sinatra.
Yeah, that's it. You're right.
Sports radio.
Your parent was the library.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you fuck with any classic rock?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah.
Like, name one. Poser.
No, he fucks with Led Zeppelin.
I fuck with Led Zeppelin hard.
Yeah.
And...
Because he's from upstate New York, Rush.
So I think Rush is so much in their own category. I don't even.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
scratching Greg's itch.
If
Greg
you want to talk
loves-
about Rush, we might have to say delay your flight.
Greg flew from Seattle to New York to see Rush at the Garden with his brother.
Yo, that's so good.
I saw Rush. I was disappointed, but only
What tour?
Damn.
Roll the Bones.
This would be.
Oh.
No.
What
This
year?
This was like 6 years ago. maybe 5. Maybe 5.
Did they have washing machines on the stage?
Okay.
I was living in LA, so when was that?
All right, but you were disappointed. Okay.
Not because they were bad; they were absolutely
I
perfect.
feel like you got to
because
see
it's
them
album
upstate.
perfect.
Okay.
Upstate,
Oh, it is
outdoor.
album perfect. Yeah, for sure.
And I just don't have any use for that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think that's how they've been since the 70s.
For sure.
Yeah,
And-
they
but
are,
but aside from like some drum flourishes that are very cool and very impressive, like I just don't like it's album perfect. And
No,
I
it
just
is.
so
No, I agree with you, especially on those last few tours. Yeah, for
so,
sure.
so
What I want from a Rush show is outside, summer evening,
Sure.
laying on a picnic bank,
Back.
doing
God.
chilling, and Rush is
Soy.
playing, and I'm hearing, I'm so psyched. But I'm
Running-
also laying down.
Running through the gate with a friend of mine in Southern California to an outdoor amphitheater because we were late for the show, and we hear Tom Sawyer starting,
So good.
and we're running to get inside to see it. Good Lord.
and that is undoubtedly classic
How
rock.
fun
I
is
just
that?
don't think of it
Yeah,
that way, but
it's
that
a-
I can listen to 99% of the Rush catalog.
Okay, Tom asked a good question. Zeppelin or Sabbath?
Oh, Zeppelin.
Yeah, I go Zeppelin too.
Sabbath.
I like Sabbath a lot.
I ultimately would go Zeppelin
Yeah.
for listenability. Like I could listen to Kashmir every hour on the hour. For
Yeah.
the rest of
I
my
think
life.
there's such an interesting two bands to put together because when you listen to them, I don't think there was a lot of crossover between those two worlds.
Probably not.
But they were parallel in time, and if you and they have some distinctly similar influences. They're pulling from the same box, just doing different stuff. Yeah, do a volume 4 Led Zeppelin 3 side by side listen. Fun time.
Yeah, and
Classic
Okay.
rock.
I also some Blue Oyster Cult. I think like even though
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Like,
for
Uh-huh.
sure.
I only
Absolutely.
know "Don't Fear the Reaper,"
there's a song.
Oh,
and I think they sound
they're
like that's what
cattle.
Ghost sounds like.
So they actually run the gamut between like pretty irritating to
Uh-huh.
absolutely perfect.
Yeah, there's at least 2 Blue Oyster Cult records that are so
Records?
listenable. Yeah,
Like LPs?
so listenable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a song "I Love the Night" that I could play over and over again.
Good, I played at your funeral.
You could. You could.
One I'll shout out is Arlo Guthrie. What's the fucking the
diner song?
Alice's Restaurant.
Alice's-
All right, so that's the
Diner
song
song.
everybody likes, and it's funny and cool, and like
Thanksgiving,
Amanda loves
Christmas?
it, huh?
What's it tied to?
Thanksgiving.
Christmas? Yeah.
And but the B side of that record, as it's originally released, the A side is that song and the extended version. The B side is fucking just like beautiful rock music, like a little bit of Americana, but it's like kind of dark and cool. So that I'll shout out. So. All right, we want to do one more question, or you got to get going?
I got to get going. Like
right,
as soon
let's
as we're
close it
done, I'm
off.
sprinting to an Uber and going to my friend's
All right,
house
let's do one more. Let's see. Do we want to do one more question? Yeah, let's do it.
It's
It's like I love you, man.
That's Tom Sawyer.
No, yes. Well, hold on. Play it again. No, are you doing Limelight or are you doing Tom Sawyer?
I think it's Tom Sawyer.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right,
Slap at a bass, man.
long-time listener, first-time emailer.
Hey.
I'm a relatively late embracer of the core. My roots originate in pop punk, emo, and indie rock, all the best J styles. All right. Most of the historic, quote-unquote, hardcore bands that I've become aware of have been by learning first of the secondary stylistic proteges or second acts before the originator. For example, I listened to Saves the Day before Lifetime, Rival Schools before Quicksand.
Interesting.
Yeah, it makes sense for time,
Yeah.
actually. My question for you is, what hardcore bands that have imitated other styles end up doing it better than the original? Or will they always be written off as a praise band? P.S. Bob, he had some nice things to say about our signings on Revelation, so props to us. Thank you, Jamey. Very cool.
That's interesting.
Who do it better? Okay.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. If you ask me, Saves the Day does not touch Lifetime.
Right.
Oh, really?
But
A lot of
most
people.
other people would be like, dude, Saves the Day fucking
Yeah.
slaughters it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't agree.
Yeah.
I think by the time that I can listen to Saves the Day, it sounds markedly different from.
It's not it's
Right.
not punk
Because
anymore.
the only record I can listen to from Saves the Day is
It's Stay What You Are. That's a record I like.
Yeah.
The other
You
two
can
songs
listen
are
to
great.
Stay What
The other
You
two
Are.
records are good, but it's Lifetime.
You like it, right?
I think that if for a type of music that I
Yeah.
actually actively don't like, that is the perfection of it.
Stay What You Are.
2019
That's a good
is
record,
the
man.
year of pop punk Patrick. Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Give me
I think
Money.
it has
Like,
a
what do
lot to do with how much time passes too. Because
Yeah.
in 1987, what is the hardest recording you've ever heard in your entire life? The
Yeah.
Breakdown demo.
Yes.
Like it,
Men at Work.
Okay, but still.
I was still
No,
laughing.
breakdown demo. You're right.
Breakdown demo. I listened to it 1,000 times and couldn't fathom it. I would argue that Satisfaction is the Death of Desire is the descendant somehow, some some way of the
that.
breakdown demo. Sounds a hell of a lot better. I would listen to Satisfaction probably and work out or go running or play it for my friends, whereas I'd play in the breakdown demo and they'd be like,
Look at you sideways.
what is this?
Yeah.
You know, so...
All right.
That's interesting because that feels more extraction. And if somebody was to try to do, I have very strong opinions on this just because I never like the band that is attempting to do something perfectly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I don't know if
hate Rush.
No. What I mean is like whenever you
perfect.
attempt a genre piece band, you know what I mean? Like where you're like, I want to sound like this era and I'm going to do it to the T.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I never end up liking those.
Okay, so how do you feel about End of Year Sincerely?
I'd throw it in the trash.
I think
love that record.
I would argue that it's an example of this where is it better than the Embrace record? No. Is it better than but it's in the tier. It's not classic like that record, but it's better than Bright to Spring.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's not better than One Less Wish.
It's very. I mean,
but no, you aim for the thing is like there's so much difference to some of that stuff.
You would have been on DeSoto, but not Discord.
Maybe, but that's actually a fascinating conversation. I've never in my life thought, how does it actually rank against the source
That's what I'm
material?
saying.
I've never thought about it,
and that's what we're being
interesting.
asked to do is think about the source. I
What
don't
are
know
other
like
bands that are like
and it's different because it's like where do you compare things like.
I mean, how is it better if it's like you got it directly from?
Well, and it's tough because then it's like, you know, if it's direct, it's not. I think you guys were, but even on that record,
abstain from this question.
you pull in dancey shit on that's a little bit different. So there's stuff that's going on that aren't. I think the best versions, and it's kind of deferring, but like Saves the Day to Lifetime. There's a directness, but also Saves the Day doesn't get as fast as Lifetime.
No.
And then you go to the other side where it's Kid Dynamite. Kid Dynamite just extrapolates and goes, okay, what are all the elements of Lifetime minus Saves the Day, basically? you know, when you sonically go that way. And it's so fast. It's like, well, if you blend those together, maybe you come with Lifetime.
Where would you go? Kid Dynamite or Lifetime? Gun to your head.
Oh, Lifetime.
Okay.
I would too.
Yeah.
I love Lifetime.
And I like Kid Dynamite a lot. I haven't gone back to it, but Lifetime's great.
Yeah, like you could put on Jersey's Best Dancers right now.
I put on Jersey's Best Dancers, and to be honest, I could put on that reunion record. That's a great record.
Yeah, I wouldn't know any of the words
Yeah.
because I still don't understand after 20 years.
Really?
I don't understand half the shit he says. And then not in the record.
I'm going to start talking on the podcast like, all right.
A lot of the record, I'm like, you're not saying that. He does the Bannon.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what you're saying.
Love that too, though.
Yeah, I
What
feel
are
it.
other like direct descendants? No pun intended.
All right, so here's one. Is Converge a direct descendant of Rorschach?
Yes. If you ask them,
Do they do it better?
they do it better.
They evolved it, but they did it better. They took in a few different influences
Does
and just
Rorschach
twisted
have
up.
a single song as fast as when Converge decided to start playing?
Well, that's down the line of evolution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, so at their outset, when
Well, not even because obviously Converge started as
Runner is
Biohazard
fast.
and then goes in Rorschach. You know,
Runner, that song.
Yeah.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah.
I mean, Converge probably does it better.
all right. So then you can go to older shit like Infest or something like Siege. I say Infest did it better.
Yes.
What year did Siege come out?
83, 84.
Youth of Today or SSD?
Youth of Today did it better.
Always.
Yeah. Thank you.
Don't get sour face.
No. I'm just thinking because I prefer. There's one I prefer, but if I was being honest, I just don't have as many good songs. So
Here's one that Bob will probably. AF or Negative Approach.
I don't think
Because I think AF is the.
Do you think they pulled it?
Yes.
I don't think they did pull it.
But they covered him.
I know, but I don't think they pulled it. That's cool, right? That's coming soon. If I just had to choose one, I'm picking AF, but I wouldn't say they took this. They took some other elements, and that's why I think New York's so interesting.
New York is the coolest.
New York's cool.
Sorry.
I know.
What else is there?
It's just a
I wish
tough
he gave us
question to pull in.
examples, 'cause
I
it would be
know.
cool to
Well,
kinda-
he'd use those, the Saves the Day or Lifetime.
Yeah.
Rival Schools Quicksand's too. It's different. It's the same creator.
guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a different sound.
I mean, it's almost like 7 Seconds or Gorilla Biscuits.
Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah. Like well.
Because if you listen to the Walter Sings the Hits, that is a fucking
He's going
7 Seconds
for 7
record.
seconds. Yeah.
Because Civ can't sing like Walter can, and it's a lot closer to a 7 Seconds record.
It's always. I think it might have been mentioned on here. Ian McKay almost produced. He was asked to produce Start Today. I'm really curious to see what that would have sounded like.
That's interesting.
Wow.
He turned it down, and then he heard it. and He's like, "Ah, shit! I would have liked to have done that."
Really? Wow.
I don't know. It's really tough to think about that, and you can go to more modern things. There's bands like I think the band Renee Hartfelt pulls a lot from Quicksand.
Yeah.
But it's not. I wouldn't say it's better in any way, but it's a really cool thing, and you can hear the sound.
You could even do Guns Up and fucking No Warning, or fucking Cruel Hand, No Warning, and Backtracking, No Warning, and No Warning and Madball, and you know.
Yep.
Oh well, if that's the case, then like, no.
Are you taking?
Madball overall.
I'm not saying anything controversial. I'm going to say Madball.
Yeah.
But those bands, I mean,
But that No Warning, Ill Blood record, honestly,
the best non-Madball record.
And it pulls in just enough from other spots like Cro-Mags and Outbursts and and does it in the production. I think the production on that record is great.
It helps them,
and it helps separate it from some of the Madball records. Not to say better, but just different.
Yeah, no, it's clean.
It's a really good question that's going to require more thought. I don't think, and then like if you think about eras where that like the revival thing is, so like we just are in a metalcore revival thing. Like is Vane better than Converge? No. Oh, okay. Code Orange or Disembodied, and we all say Code Orange, right?
Better.
Yeah, but I think there's enough variation on it that I don't know if it is.
I mean, it's a spooky chord that everyone fucking goes
right,
back.
and that's the problem is that like to have it be direct, it's tough. Like okay, Floor
doesn't
Punch
sound like Rorschach.
No, well, that's
right.
what I'm
In
saying.
reality,
No,
it's
Floor
that
Punch
same
doesn't have any.
discordance.
Isn't Youth of Today, but they're Youth of Today and Breakdown and the Raw Deal
Straight
demo,
Ahead and-
Straight Ahead thrown in a blender.
Yeah, there's no
and it's
direct.
not direct.
You know what would be interesting if there's a worship band, literally like a disband, for example,
Yep.
that sounds better than Discharge.
Okay,
Would
so
be
there's no
interesting.
one who's arguing that the Disclose LP is better than the Discharge singles, but there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, it's pretty fucking good though.
Maybe I would listen to it, but then
No, there's people who would listen to it. Yeah, that's a good record.
because you enter this weird world where when you've heard the original a trillion times, some people will opt
For some new,
thing.
and there is slightly like if I listen to Disclose, it's a little noisier than the Discharge recording, and it's got some of that Japanese in it, just enough that's like, oh, this is a D beat and this is worship, but like the sound, it's got more of a buzz to it, intentional buzz.
Right.
That's cool, Man, good questions. All right, we cleared a bunch out of the mailbag. Greg, thank you. That was
of
awesome.
course, absolutely.
You're invited back.
Greg.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Greg, we're going to fly you out
make
just to do
MP,
mailbags. We're just going to have you come out for more and more of this.
It was fun.
Is there a place that you'd like people to reach you about anything? I don't know what the fuck.
Two things. Most importantly, 100 for Haiti is the nonprofit that I'm the executive director and founder of, but more importantly, that does development work in rural Haiti. So go to 100 for Haiti, all spelled out, ONEHUNDREDFORHAITI.org. Today, we funded two really critical programs in Haiti. One was we funded the ability for 300 kids who were either former child slaves, living in orphanages, or living in the streets to get 2 therapy sessions each per month for the next 6 months. And then we also funded enough therapy time for 250 parents whose kids have been former child slaves to get therapy to understand their own feelings about their kids being former child slaves and then returning to their homes. So check out 100forhaiti.org. And then if you're interested in more about me, gregbennick.com. I just redid the website and stripped off all the bullshit and left all the stuff that matters to me. So there you go. GREGBENNICK.com.
Greg, thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thanks a lot,
Awesome.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it.